Now, this is the greatest phrase in all of sports. Football Friday, Super Bowl Friday. Wow. Days away from America's greatest event. Days away from America's greatest event. Super Bowl Sunday, where history is made. You know, I don't give a shit about the World Cup. I really don't. I don't care. To me, it's the biggest event on the planet. I so don't care. And if you're fortunate enough to get your favorite team in the game, you got a lot invested. Everyone has a lot invested. Civic pride. Both teams have great fan bases, man. What a great moment. What an absolutely great moment for America. Dude, you talk about the greatest gathering place of all time. It'll be in your fucking living room. Super Bowl Sunday, baby. Watching your favorite teams play. Hit the like button. First 15 minutes, some of the most important. Please hit that like button. All supers like Harv. Go to the top. Absolutely. 60 minutes away from greatness. Let's FNG, baby. I want to say this, Eric Allen. See you, Harv. Congratulations on making the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You know we got Hall of Famers on. And we had Eric Allen on. And we made sure we did our part when it came to our 5 guys. Only 4 men were inducted into the Hall of Fame. Eric gets his flowers finally, and he gets to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Deservedly so. Sterling Sharp? I don't think so. We're going to get Jason Cole on, who was part of the 50 men that voted. And Jason, I know, voted for Eric Allen. So you guys having him on your program was an influence in Jason Cole voting for Eric Allen. Congratulations. The power of the show here with you guys. Congratulations. Okay? Congratulations. You guys having Jason Cole on your program every Friday, and you guys posting and talking about Eric Allen making the Hall of Fame, that's because of you guys. WIP or the Fanatic or the Inquirer weren't putting Hall of Famers on. We were. And, hey, Bromowitz or Paul did a good job to get him in this time. Now, I don't know if he's on that Veterans Committee, but I know that he made the pitch from what I understood, so I'm assuming he had to. Guys, great stuff. Hit the like button. Super Bowl Friday. I cannot wait. I was just telling Xander, pre- and post-game show is going to be lit. Time show, all of it is going to be lit on Sunday. We expect you there. We look forward to you being there. Guys, awesome stuff. We're going to get to my prediction here in a minute. Where's Dickhead Sills? This one doesn't seem right. Dickhead Sills never leads the room, baby. Where do you think I go to fucking Canada? Sorry about that, Canada. That's another stray you took this week. We will have Jason Cole at 4:30. The Godfather will be on with us at 5:30 on Super Bowl Friday. Xander will be with us at 3:30. Hey, by the way, before we get started, congratulations. One of my fabulous predictions, Josh Allen, the National Football League's most valuable player, rightfully so. Kudos to Josh Allen. MVP, baby. You could have made an argument clearly for Lamar Jackson. There's no doubt, man. You could have made a strong argument for him. I think it was between those two guys. So congratulations to Josh Allen on making the most valuable player in the National Football League. How you doing? Hit the like button, guys. We appreciate each and every single one of you. All right. It's been 2 weeks. And do you know one of the most asked questions to me, Sills, who you taking? I have family members that have been texting me, who are you taking? I said, I'll let you know Friday. I'll let you know. I'm sitting here at work. You just can't think about anything else. 60 minutes away from immortality. Bring it home, boys. Whatever it takes. Paisan Anthony. Thank you, Anthony. On the Supers. Supers go to the top here on this football and Super Bowl Friday. Give me some scores. You know, we always started out with that. Give me some scores for Super Bowl Sunday. We have a mountain. Look at this. I mean, we have a mountain of content today. Mountain of content. Mountain of content. 21-17, 31-24 Eagles. LJ, 37-20. Kind of in the same room with Angelo Cataldi. Abe, 34-27. Mr. International, 20-point blowout. Flexen, 30-27. Senor, 34-27. Look at Ryan, man. Wow. 13-10. I'm assuming Eagles. 56-13. Eagles, Rich. Kyle, one of my statisticians. Probably one of my great statisticians here. 31-28. Matt, 33-24. Here's Xander. 27-24 Eagles. Look at that. Philly fan 444. 27-14. KCA Eagle in a blowout. Mario, 30-24. All right, here we go. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. That's Big Z's pick right there. Avengers, assemble. Like that. You'd be shocked, LJ. I'm a huge Marvel guy. Huge Marvel guy. Had a stack of comics like this, dog. Every single superhero you can imagine, I had them all. I'm a big superhero guy. I'm a big Superman guy. Okay, I'm not a Batman guy because Batman wears an outfit. Superman's the dude, you know. Guy wears a cape and flies. Come on now. I mean, Batman puts gear on. He's got a utility belt. Superman's the dude. That's who I want to be. King Kong ain't got shit on Superman. How you doing? Keith, 34-24. All right, here we go. Hit the like button, my friends. Here is Big Sil's much anticipated Super Bowl prediction. All supers, that's the only thing that interrupts me. Fuck Canada and their national song. Sorry, man. I got everybody teaming up on LJ now. Here we go. The most coveted trophy in American sports is the Lombardi Trophy, where greatness is made. There's only one other trophy, in my opinion, in North America that is close to it. It's the Stanley Cup. Because you get your name on that bitch. Okay? I love the Stanley Cup. Probably the greatest trophy in American sports. Go Birds! Khalid. Oh, this is awesome. Dope, bro. Thank you. Supers go to the top. Just want to thank all you. I lost my older brother recently. We had his funeral yesterday. This show's the only place and show that I've been able to watch that helps. I love you, man. Keep up the great work. Go Birds. Dude, that's humbling. Thank you. Thank you. TP, say something, man. Hey, I hope the game on Sunday gives you a little solace. I didn't tell you when I lost my grandpa. The only thing that time does, just don't have tears, man. Sorrow never leaves you. But it starts to get to good memories, trust me. It gets to good memories. Because now I just remember all the great things. Me and my pop sitting around watching football. Okay? You know? Me and my pop used to watch football. That's where my aunt came down and said, why don't you become a broadcaster? I was 13 years old. I was like, and I was thinking about being a football player. Memories never fade, man. God bless, brother. And that's quite a compliment. It's the greatest compliment that I can ever have doing this and being involved in sports and sports talk is having someone like you. More than the great guests we get on. Thank you, brother. Happy you're here for Super Bowl Friday. Here we go. Prayers to your brother. There's no trophy in American sports like this. So few people get to this game. Some of the greatest players in the history of the league never get here. Eagles are here twice. Chiefs are here multiple times. What a great moment for both teams, both cities, both franchises, the league in general. A divided country comes together on Super Bowl Sunday. You want to hear something crazy? This is going to be probably the most disgusting thing my aunt's ever going to hear me say. We all take a shit together at the same time. That's how crazy it is. We all take a crap at the same time. The water levels in every single city in America go down at halftime. Halftime, we go to the bathroom. We get up, we go. The stadium, people will get up and go. It's the only time. That's how close we all get. Okay. How do you pick against Patrick Mahomes? How do you pick against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid? That's a big question here. Okay? Thank you, Peter. Sorry for your loss, brother. How do you pick against Mahomes and Reid? I mean, it has to be one of the biggest questions. I mean, you can add Steve Spagnuolo into this. How in the world do you pick against those three dudes? All proven winners. Andy, Matt Nagy have done a great job this year in taking really C and B students, winning as many games as they've won. Matt Nagy, the OC in Kansas City, and winning as many games as they have. It's absolutely insane on what they've done with C students. Brady and Belichick. It's insane. Hurry up and pick the Chiefs, old man. Thank you for the super. All supers go to the top. They've done a great job. Leo Chanel, I think, is going to have a huge game for Kansas City. Tyson got a 13 count. Should have called it there. Again, Sills, Eli beat Brady twice. It can be done. As I said all week, I believe this comes down to this. I do not believe the Philadelphia Eagles can stop Patrick Mahomes and their offense. And I do not believe Kansas City can stop Philadelphia's offensive line. However, I do believe it's going to come down to those two entities. I believe in the end, the Eagles will have a few stops in the fourth quarter. And Eagles will win Super Bowl 59, 30-24. I just don't believe Kansas City can stop you. You're going to have to fucking prove to me that you could beat the bully up. 30-24. The Philadelphia Eagles win Super Bowl 59. I just don't believe it. I mean, if you take things at face value, if you use your eyes, I just can't believe the bully will be beat up for 60 minutes of football. I just don't believe it. I think you're going to get a Brandon Graham type of stop, a couple of them in the fourth quarter, and you're going to win it. There's just too much physicality. By the way, I'm not even talking about your talent. That's an overrated conversation. I'm talking about your fucking toughness. It's just tough. They put that tough. You know can I tell you what swayed me? Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, 2 weeks ago in the NFC Championship game, how tough that team was and how tough they played and how they just manned up and went in on Washington. It could have been any team. They beat them with mental toughness. Xander's been right the whole time. I can't. If you've ever listened to me, I'll never take the finesse team. Now, again, I'm doing something that's against the grain here. You know what that is? You're going against Mahomes and Reed. I had a tough struggle with that. I just think toughness beats that. I mean, I cannot bet against being physical. They're physical. They're mentally tougher than they were in 22. You had mercenaries. I can't get over. Hey, how many of you been in a fist fight? And you're always intimidated by the tougher dude, the bully. The Eagles are truly Broad Street bullies too. I mean, I'm not even talking about your talent. You notice I'm not talking about breakdowns here. I'm going to do something here, and I'm going to pull a Pat Riley on. I'm going to write one word down. Okay? That this game's going to come down to. Okay? All supers go to the top. I'm going to come down with one word. Will. The will. Sills, we can believe in the Eagles. We can believe anything. I can believe I have a chance with Scarlett Johansson, but then I wake up 38-35 Chiefs. Xander, we missed the super. Can you please put it up? I got you, Pump. Pump, I struggled with it. Dynasty Killers. Pat Riley wrote that on a chalkboard. I told you numerous times when I was on in South Florida. And I had Pat Riley on my program numerous times. Okay? Numerous times. What did you write in Game 7 in Boston on the chalkboard to your team when you were playing the Celtics? He said, Will. There were no plays on the board. Your will has to take over. There's no fucking play I can draw up here. I like the prediction, Sills. What worries me is the same thing that happened to San Francisco last year. Oh, absolutely. San Francisco was more physical with a generational running back. They limited McCaffrey last year. Hopefully we can find a way. By the way, I got about 15 things we're going to talk about here in a minute. Thank you, Gabe. By the way, all supers go to the top. Thank you so much during this football week. Morning show's been killing it. You guys have been just absolute. Guys, like I said, you helped get Eric Allen into the Hall of Fame. You should support your shows. Nobody in Philly's doing it for you. I just think they're too physical. You're just going to have to show me that the Eagles can be beat up. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Do you know how bad hey, do you want to hear something crazy? Do you know how bad I wanted to pick Kansas City? I made my selection last night. But what really turned the tide for me was the NFC Championship game. Dang, were they fucking tough. I was so impressed, not with Barkley, with how Jurgens and Dickinson played, Landon Dickerson. I was so impressed with those guys. They got a will to win this thing. They're still hungry. I mean, prove it to me. I think they're going to get a stop. Like 3 stops in the game. 1 in the first half, 2 in the fourth. And they're going to win it. I don't know what that is. Interception, sack, TFL, maybe a scoop and score. I don't know. $30-24. Eagles win their second world championship in the Super Bowl era. By the way, no bias. You know this. You know the difference between me and everybody else on our network and in your city and around the country? I have no bias. I don't give a shit who wins. I have no caring. So when I look at this game, I'm looking at it with an objective view of it. You know that since I've been on the air here. I just don't see it. I mean, hit the like button. All supers go to the top. This has been a hell of a year. Thank you, Khalid. I'm so jacked up right now. You're on the threshold of greatness. Here are the Big Sills questions for Super Bowl 59. What's the biggest question in your mind heading into Super Bowl 59? By the way, Steven, people, give me a total on the likes, please. What's the biggest question heading into this game? Elliot, okay? What's the biggest question? heading into this game. What do you think? O-line health? Fuck that. Go play. Fuck that. Health. Jake Elliott, how they handled the field goal game. Special teams. Health of Landon Dickerson, okay. Health of Jalen Carter, don't worry about the flu. No one's missing this game over the sniffles. Joe, I like yours. Flexing goes, I don't have any questions. I like that, actually. Turnovers. All right. Let me get into this. Number one. Can the Chiefs prevent the home run kill of the Eagles? And what I mean by that is, did you see the faces on the sidelines? Dan Quinn, everyone in the NFC title game, when Barkley hit his head on the goalpost on the first play. I can't tell you what's more deflating than watching someone just run you over on the first play. Game was over then. Washington was playing catch up the entire game after that because they deflated them on one freaking play. You prepared, you practice, you do hours of study, you look at game film, and what happens? Guy takes it to the house on one play. Deflating. Number two. Can the Eagle defense make the Chiefs get out to a slow start? Let me say this to you. If you put the Chiefs early in that game behind the sticks, they're going to have to start playing catch-up, which means what? They're going to have to stop being multifaceted, trying to get the run game going. Mahomes is going to have to get on his bike earlier. Remember in the last two games, and I'm talking Super Bowls, he got on his bike in the second half. You've got to make Kansas City, in my opinion, Super Bowl Sunday, get off the slow starts. 3 and outs. You imagine if the Eagles get that offense and you get in the first series and the Chiefs have a couple 3 and outs in the first quarter, you're going to win the game. You're going to win the game. Number 3, will the Chiefs blitz package be able to get to Hurts 4 times? I think the Chiefs are going to need 4 sacks in this game to win. They need 4 sacks to win that game. Take them out of field position, field goal position, take them out of plus yardage. They're going to have to get to Hurts 4 times. That's what Kansas City's going to have to do. Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate you. Supers go to the top. Number 4. Will Vic Fangio's defense win the red zone? When Kansas City gets down in the red zone, will Vic's defense win the red zone? Don't let Kansas City score TDs. Make them kick field goals. The winner of the red zone is also going to determine. You can't go on 10-play drives. Kick field goals in this game to win a Super Bowl. Absolutely no way can you do that. win the red zone. It'll be essential on Sunday. Essential. Sills, you honestly think the Chiefs are keeping Saquon in check? If so, you think they'll stop the passing game then? I'll get to that, my friend. I don't think you're going to have a huge passing game. I just don't. Number 5. The Chiefs are going to have to force turnovers, as will the Eagle defense. Going to have to force turnovers. Turnovers, obviously, everyone knows, is a indicator of how that game's going. Do you understand something about turnovers? You can't plan for them. That's an in-game statistic. You know when people talk about plus minus, that's so stupid. A tip, an errant throw. You can't game plan that. That's why it's the most unscientific stat there is. Jalen will have to have 2 to 3 plays at the line of scrimmage that he will call. Trust that he studied KC's formation since the NFC Championship game. Absolutely. Plus, he's played him 4 times, so he'll know Spags' tendencies. Abe, now you can watch and celebrate the game like us in your Jerome Brown jersey. Eric Allen's a Hall of Famer now, and Barkley's the Offensive Player of the Year. You did your thing this year. Love you, man. Thank you, Abe. I will be wearing the Jerome Brown jersey on Sunday. Turnovers will be enormous in this game. Here's another thing. I watched some film last night. Here's something about your defense. Will Vic Fangio, would you not agree that what do you think was the most successful thing that Vic Fangio's defense did this year? What would you, let's see how smart some of you are. And if you go and you watch some of the tape and you start, do you know how a guy goes to a ball game and he charts the game and he keeps score of the game, E3, E5, guy in the second hole ends up going 2 for 3. Okay, gang tackling, limit first down yardage. Okay, here's Harv again. Thank you, Harv. Supers go to the top. Only one game this entire playoffs where the team that lost the turnover battle won the game. Turnovers are one of the best statistics in the playoffs. 41-33. Nolan is going to kill Taylor. 3 sacks. Super Bowl MVP. Nick needs to be up on the ref's ass about the holding. False starts. Birds D will stop this three-peat. BS. 34-17. Here's what I think the best thing. You tell me if you agree or disagree. I think the best thing that the Eagle defense has done, if you watch the film, you see, I watch it different than you. Would you not agree that one of the signature things that this defense has done this year, Vic's defense has put the offense in great field position almost the entire season? Are they going to continue to do that Super Bowl Sunday? 3 and outs, turnovers, sacks, not allowing sustained drives. Swap DeJean for Maddox did wonders for this defense. Absolutely, Alex. Do you guys not agree that Vic's defense this year helped put that offense in great field position the entire year? I think that's one of the hidden gems of this thing. Okay, I mean, how many times you see the Eagle offense starting no less than the 35-yard line, sometimes 42. I mean, going 60 yards instead of having to go 75 yards. All year they did this. Watch any game. The offense's field position starting a series was always in great field position. Are they going to continue to do that Super Bowl Sunday? Okay? We need one early clean bell ringing hit on the quarterback. I don't think you're going to rattle him. Foot on throat, must be aggressive and play calls until the whistle. 60 minutes of football. Absolutely, Brian. Absolutely. That defense has put that Eagle offense, in my opinion, they have put them in great field position. Hit the like button, guys. Give me a total on the likes. You guys, awesome stuff so far here on a Super Bowl Friday. Number 7. Do you not agree with this? Will the Eagles and Dallas Goedert exploit the weakness of the Chiefs defense? And that's their linebackers. Okay? I don't think you go to the numbers in the passing game. But see, this is the thing that hurts the Eagle offense. Hurts doesn't throw over the middle of the field. I think you need to attack that weakness. This is my concern in the passing game for Hurts. This is where you can get turnovers. It's a glaring weakness for the Chiefs. Their linebackers struggle in coverage. Okay? They struggle in coverage. And you've got Kelsey in the room. You have got to get Goddard going. I don't believe the linebackers can cover Goddard. Here's another problem. This is the problem that you have when you get no production out of the third wide receiver in the slot. That's a hole in the Eagle passing game. They don't throw across the middle of the field. They don't exploit poor linebackers. I think Dallas Goedert's going to be open all day long. Number 8. The Eagles wide receivers, Devontae and AJ versus the young Kansas City secondary. How is Kansas City going to handle that experience in the secondary? I mean, these tremendous route runners. One's exceptional with yards after the catch. The other guy runs precise routes. How are they going to deal with that experience-wise? Now, look, you can flip that over on the other side, obviously, with the young talent that the Eagles have. But you don't have the same skill set over on Kansas City side of the ball that you do in Philly. So I want to believe my Eagles have a chance, but all signs point to Patty Mahomes putting a boot to ass against us. Got to take a miracle. Pump. You're going to have 60 minutes of excellence. Okay? You're going to have 60 minutes of excellence in this ball game. No question, Pump. Pump. This will be the toughest game they've played in 3 years. Okay? Toughest game they've played in 3 years. All right? Number 9. I threw this in here How healthy do you truly believe Jalen Hurts is? You think he's 100% heading into this game? And I asked this question for only one thing. How much activity is he going to have in a run game? Okay? How much activity? DP, how aggressive do you think Sirianni will be in the red zone? Chiefs have a great red zone defense. Do you think he'll take the points, go for the TDs? I think you have to have TDs in the red zone. I think teams that get into the red zone and kick field goals, the teams that kick the field goals versus, obviously, that don't go for it down in the red zone, they're going to lose. You're not going to win Super Bowls kicking fucking field goals. Harv, I think the best thing that happened to DeJean was Adam Thielman schooling him after this season. Earlier this season, you're talking about the Carolina game. Okay? It's going to be, I see some, who said it? Barb, stop with them. Hey, Barb, play calling dictates injury. It's part of it. You think they're going to run zone plays with Landon Dickerson if he can't move? Absolutely not. This is what I'm talking about, where I'm trying to lay this out for you here. I mean, Barb's expecting fuck the injury stuff. That doesn't really matter with Hurts. So in her room and on her play sheet, they're going to run stretch plays with Landon Dickerson if he can barely move. Sure, okay. Get rid of him anyway. And that's how you get killed by Chris Jones. It's a question, too. Number 10. You've got to pass rush, and you've got to get to Mahomes. You just got to get to Mahomes. You've got to pressure him. The type of passes you sit back in the pocket, the longer he sits in the pocket favors Philly. If he's getting into a rhythm and he's throwing into that zone, it'll be pitch and catch. Number 11, Jalen Carter versus Mike Caliendo. Dude, better bring a miner's cap, and you better bring a lunchbox. You're going to fucking work. This going to be a fucking work day here for you, man. You better bring your lunchbox. You know, one of them hats that have a light on it? You be going into mine here, man, and you better bring a packed lunch. I think the smart move, if you're going to pull, is use Becton as a primary puller from the guard. It's probably the healthiest, too. Yes. Absolutely. Guys, do me a favor. Give me a total on the likes, super chats. We'll get to everybody here, but I'm only going to the supers right now because I'm trying to get my 15 out. Plus, we got a couple more observations that I want to see in this game on Sunday. Tell me if you agree with this. 165. Thank you, Mike. Guys, let's get that up. I appreciate it. Is this the game? Is this the game that you'll feel Nakobe Dean's loss? Is this the game? You've been relatively lucky, and you haven't felt his loss. Will this be the game Mahomes exploits that? Let me bring this up and why I'm bringing this up. Do you remember last year's Super Bowl? What happened when Dre Greenlaw got in the game? And who did they put in? Does anyone remember? Who the 49ers put last year in the Super Bowl where Mahomes started picking them apart? Does anybody remember who the Niners put in? What was that guy's name? I forget his name that went in for Dre Greenlaw. Who is that guy? Warren Burks. You remember him? Do you remember him on the sidelines, what he said? Remember him on the sidelines? He goes, Greenlaw's out. They went right at him. Right at him. Okay? Niners defense couldn't have sucked that bad. They beat the fucking shit out of you last year. Yo, Dan, do you take the straitjacket off or do you just do what Michael Irvin said and loosen a few buckles? Yeah. Don't get out of what you're doing, dude. Don't get out. Hey, make Kansas City do something different. Why should you? You're tougher than them. You're tougher than them. Also, who's going to be the special teams hero? Okay, who's going to be the one guy? Dude, I'll tell you one thing about Warren Burks. Was it the NFC Championship game? Who set the tone in that game? Or was it the game before that they got a fumble on the kickoff? Fuck, that's a great tone setter. If they match up Kelsey against Burks, could be a nightmare. Correct. Cooper DeJean was the guy. Somebody knocked the shit out of somebody on the opening kickoff. Was Sidney Brown? Okay. KC has a hammer, a flat-headed, and a wrench in their toolbox. Philly has enough tools to build a house, but they only come in with a shovel to bury Kansas City. Akbar, thank you, brother. Appreciate you being part of us here. And here, how deep does Andy Reid have to go into his toolbox in this game against Philly? I thought last year, do you not agree, guys? I thought Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes had to go deep into the toolbox to beat San Francisco. They needed a fifth quarter to beat them. You may dictate that Andy, if you start to see shit in this game, whoever blinks first loses. If Philly rolls in and doesn't have to do anything out of just being aggressive in certain situations, not running stupid jet sweeps and shit, what have you, that you never ran really all year, and you start seeing Kansas City doing things, Kansas City's behind. Kansas City's behind. Make Andy Reid have to go knee deep into that toolbox like he did a year ago. And if he's doing that, you're going to win the Super Bowl. Some of the things, again, for me, more. You have more questions. Hit the like button. Thank you, guys. All the supers today. Would you consider using Cooper to guard Kelsey? Let's go there. What can Kansas City do better that maybe they didn't do 2 years ago? Vice versa with the Eagles as well. Obviously, the easiest one for Philly is protect the football. You want to hear something crazy? If you protect the football, you would have won. You made the mistakes. They didn't. You couldn't get stops at the right time in the second half defensively. You turned the ball over. You had a special teams fuck up. KC beat you on 50 plays. Do you understand? Kansas City can beat you on 10 plays. They don't need a ton of plays because their quarterback can throw out of problems and throw out of trouble. He's one of the few guys in the league that can do that. They don't need volume plays like 95% of the teams do. You had the volume plays, time of possession, field position, and you lost on 50 fucking plays. Do you understand? That's a little over 10 plays a quarter. That's all they had the ball. 10 plays a quarter. Add it up. That's one series 4 with the punt. That's another series 8. They had the football for 2.5 series in Super Bowl 57 and beat you. I mean, you limited them. That you did everything right except turn the ball over, get critical stops in it. Everything you did in the 2017 Super Bowl, you failed in 22. Someone said Hurts primed for 14 to 25, 131. Khalid, that's not a horrible night for him. That's what he's averaging this year. And then if you get 65 yards rushing out of him, that's a standard Jalen Hurts game. 14 to 21, 145 yards passing, 65 rushing, and Barkley goes for 200, you win. Why do you give a fuck how it looks? KC was more physical in the second half in 57. They used the middle of the field more effectively and had special team success. Absolutely. Landon Dickerson. I know this will rub Barb the wrong way. What kind of health does he have heading into this? This goes to one person's question here. Who's going to match up on Jason Kelce or Travis Kelce? Who's going to see this number here? If that happens, they lose. I'm not taking fucking touches away from Barkley to make your boys look good on Super Bowl Sunday, guy. You're in the fucking Super Bowl. Ram it down their throat. Make them stop you. Make them stop the knockout punch. This guy wants his boyfriend to look good in the game. Fuck that. Go knock him out. Run him over. This guy wants his girlfriend to look good. Mrs. Hurts. Who gives a shit? 14 to 21, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns combined. What do you care? This is not about your girlfriend looking good. How stupid are those numbers, and how stupid are you when you make that up? And Hurts rides off into the sunset the same way that Aikman did for 3 Super Bowls. Why? You know what? I used to have this conversation with people all the time. Why in the world do people have a problem being Scottie Pippen? Scottie Pippen's one of the 25 greatest players of all time. He's got 6 championship rings. Jordan never won a title without him. And he was one of the most instrumental people in NBA history. Why the fuck do people have a problem being Scottie Pippen? I mean, Jordan never won shit without him. Why do you have a problem with that? This is one football game. You want to worry about his numbers and your boyfriend or your girlfriend, whatever your deal is, worry about it in the offseason. I'm sure you will. Do you put DeJean? Dude, how many people do you do this? And how many are saying this? I don't want Oren Burks covering Jason Kelsey or Travis Kelsey. I do not want that matchup. How about putting Cooper DeJean on Travis Kelsey? I feel better about that. Putting Cooper DeJean on him. I do not feel comfortable putting Oren Burks, who got killed in last year's Super Bowl. He got killed in it by the same guy. You're going to do that again? Right? Good luck. If that's a personnel mismatch. Here's another one. By the way, guys, please hit the like button. Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Please hit the like button. Give us a total on what we did in the first hour. You guys were great in the first hour. Okay? How effective is A.J. Brown and Devontae going to be in the run game on Super Bowl Sunday? 177, not bad. Great stuff. How important are they going to be in that run game? I think vital. See this here? That's when you get beat. So Kelsey's slow. I'll take a slow Kelsey versus Oren Burks any day. And I'll take Travis Kelsey coming off a rocking chair versus Oren Burks. A rocking chair. Can't give Mahomes time in the pocket. You just can't give him time in the pocket. How do you feel about Kellen Moore? How do you feel about Kellen Moore? Look at this. Except that Kelsey's toast, it's over for him. Versus nobody Burks. Okay? That's how you get beat. With that dumb mentality. Holy shit. Travis Kelsey's not the same player. Oren Burks is barely a player. How do you feel about Kellen Moore versus Spagnuolo? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about Kellen versus Spags? Listen, Pat, Burks has been good. You're going against Travis Kelsey. You're not going against a fucking Kincaid or some other dude in the AFC. You're going against the second best pass-catching tight end in NFL history and maybe the second best pass-catching tight end in Super Bowl history. Do you understand? The people you're playing against are historical. Not just good, historical. The coach is historical. The quarterback is historical. The coordinating head coach is historical. The defensive coordinator is historical. You're not fucking playing against the best. You're going against historically some of the best people that have ever been in this league. You're not just going against people. Darth, how you doing? Another day. Another prediction, 38-24 Birds. We forced 2 turnovers, and Saquon sets a rushing record for the Super Bowl. Here's another one. Do the Chiefs have anybody else on that team, especially offensively, that concerns you? Does Mahomes make a champ? Hey, let me show you how these great historical quarterbacks and how great they are. Do you know Tom Brady made a guy by the name of Deion Branch the Super Bowl MVP, and he made another guy by the name of Amendola? Or is it Edelman? I don't know. One of those nobodies. MVPs in Super Bowl. Do you know who those people are? I mean, Edelman and Deion Branch are nobodies. Gary Cobb hit it earlier this week. He covered Kelsey 4 or 5 different ways. Hit him in the line, double cover him, chip him is what you're saying. Let that guy get going there. I appreciate it, 4133. You're right. Steve Spagnuolo not scaring me. Well, let's see. 4 Super Bowls versus no Super Bowls as a coordinator. Congratulations to you, guy. Hell yes. Worthy concerns me because of the speed. Good take. Is there anybody else on that team that concerns me? Hollywood Brown? Worthy? But these quarterbacks make stars of people. Okay? I mean, Ray says Spagnuolo doesn't suit up. No, he beat you last time. He didn't need to suit up. Dude, he's got a Super Bowl win over you already. He didn't dress up then, too. He dressed you down. And I'm going to agree with that, Kyle. DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, Hopkins. Okay? One game. DeAndre Hopkins. Here's again what you're missing, all of you. Did you hear what I said? Quarterbacks like Mahomes and Brady make stars out of nobodies. You're missing it. You're looking at the flashy name. They don't need flashy players to make them Super Bowl MVPs. You're not looking at the game. Okay, you're just not. Quarterbacks, dude. Was it Edelman? Edelman's a Super Bowl MVP. Deion Branch is a Super Bowl MVP. Brady made nobody guys in MVPs of the game. Had that one moment, one game. Mahomes can do the same. Make Hopkins a star. Make Hollywood Brown a star. That's the ability he has. Missing it. Remember something. Mahomes is going to the open guy. Whoever that is. What happened last time we seen Spag since you like the pass so much? I don't remember that game. You'll have to help me. I only remember Super Bowls. Hung 35 on Spags the last time with a lesser roster. Lesser roster than you, really? You've never played the Kansas City Chiefs with a more talented roster in the last 4 years. You're out of your fucking mind. That's a lie. You have never in the last 4 years stepped on the football field with a better roster than Kansas City. Absolute lie. Don't change history here. Spy Mahomes with Burks on third. Cover Kelsey with Coop. Like it. No one mentioned Pacheco. Great take. Kareem Hunt and Pacheco. Remember something. It's Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes. That's going to make somebody a star if one of these guys gets loose. Remember something. You're heading into this game not having proved shit. Go into that game with that mentality. Hey, man, I got to take. Do you understand? On Super Bowl Sunday, you've got to take this game from them. They're not going to hand it to you. Shit, you saw a white flag raised in the NFC Championship game probably after the first 25 minutes. That's not going to happen. Hurts will be the reason if the Eagles lose. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. If he's not going to be the centerpiece in their reasoning to win, he doesn't have to be the centerpiece in the reason that they lose. It'll be a team effort, man. It'll be the fact that they never got the passing game going when they needed it most. You got it going in the NFC title game, but when you needed it the most is when it matters the most. Super Bowl Sunday. Misunderstood me. Eagles 57 roster was less than this team, and they hung 35 on Spags. Okay, I see what you're saying. You got a better, okay. I mean, Jim Schwartz had what put on him, and you won. Bro. You're not getting it, what you're up against. And I picked you. You're mentally tougher. You're physically tough. Oh, no, not mentally tougher. You're physically tougher than them. It's the only reason I'm picking you. Because your talent doesn't, if I'm Kansas City, Philadelphia Eagles talent doesn't do shit for me. I don't care about your talent. I've beaten it before. You're not going into this game except for one difference. Barkley. Same old Hurts. Different responsibilities. Same AJ, same Devontae. Pretty much the same old line. Nothing really different. Your offense doesn't frighten me if I'm Kansas City. There's nothing you have that makes me frightened except Barkley. Because he's a grand slam hitter. Barkley concerns me a ton in this ball game. Okay? And by the way, some go, well, Carter. Okay? Well, you had 70 sacks the last time. Only one other NFL team in NFL history had 70 sacks. That was the 85 Bears. Eagles are going to have to show up. It's theory that you think you're better. It will become reality on Sunday. All the theories, all the prognosticating, all of that stuff will become reality on Sunday or it won't. Dude, you headed into the Super Bowl in 57, having destroyed the San Francisco 49ers. You broke their quarterback up. You broke their second-team quarterback up. You had 4 guys with multiple double-digit sacks, and you got beat. This team's better. Go prove it. They aren't better than 22. The loss of Snead is going to hurt the offensive weapons. Are old. We're better against the run. We're better zone team now. They still won 17 games. Mahomes lost one ball game this year. And you think they're not as good. Okay. Well, they've proven what they need to. They're back in the game. They lost one ball game this year. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I really don't. Still, great show. 2 years watching, 34-28 Birds. You're just talking theory. I think Andy will attack and test Quinyon Mitchell early. With who? Philly born. With who? But Hollywood Brown? Dude, he's played against some of the best wideouts this year, and he's held his own and above. I mean, now remember something. Once again, you know why Quinyon Mitchell didn't win the Rookie of the Year award, right? Because he's a zone corner. I had no picks. That's why Verts dominated him in the voting. It wasn't even close. Mahomes is going to have to get everyone involved in Kansas City's offense Sunday, or I think the Eagles start walking on them with a comfortable lead. I'll tell you this, JT Philly, if they get that run game going and they, on defense, I'm talking Philly, on defense, can get that Eagle or Chiefs team to get out to a slow start, they are going to put a 10-point lead up on them. They are. Kansas City has to start fast. I think you got to get a lead on the Eagles. I mean, Kansas City, I think, has to have the lead heading into halftime. You know, last time you're like, well, Sills, they were down 10. Yeah, well, they don't have the same team they did, and I agree with that a couple of years ago. I don't think they have enough in the run game. Now, remember something. I looked it up. Andy Reid in the last 4 years has averaged 150 yards rushing against you. You have not stopped his run game. Even in the loss to Kansas City last year, you did not stop the run game. Be essential. Hit the like button, guys. Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Couple more here. New Jersey Maniac. They are a good combo. Hey, Maniac, I know I can't ask this question to Eagle Green colored glasses folks, so I'll ask you. Do you think that Pacheco and Hunt kind of remind you of a Dye and LeGarrette Blount a little? Don't they? They kind of remind you of that? Most in here will say no, but it kind of reminds me of that. Like LeGarrette Blount. And it kind of has that feel to it. You know? Somewhere in there. So it's kind of like that dynamic. Jay Ajayi, yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't know we had fucking English teachers in here. It kind of reminds me of that. Like it's like the professors on X. You spell the word with this, and you're like, fucking who cares, dickhead. Pacheco and Hunt, it's a good combo. But again, I mean, and Mahomes uses them very well. Okay? Hit the like button, guys. They have to sack Hurts, Kansas City, if they're going to win this game. Got to get to him. Got to get to him. I don't think, by the way, here's the two things in the passing game that has been, and here is a scouting report on Hurts' passing game. He doesn't throw across the middle of the field. He takes sacks, holds the ball too long, and he looks to run right away when pressure comes. So that's going to be essential. Mahomes is going to sit in the pocket, run around in the pocket until he feels the need to get up vertical and to try to gain yards to move the sticks. That's when he'll do that. He picks and chooses that. Hurts takes off right away, like an old school wildcat kind of quarterback. That's his MO. That's what he's done this year. They don't throw across the middle. Goddard gets lost in the pass game. And there's two primary targets. And Hurts takes off and rolls right. Throws it out of bounds, or throw it down the field. Do you know in the last, 11 games, he hasn't had a plus 35-yard play, I don't think. I think the NFC title game he did. Okay? I think he's had one in the last 12 games. I think he's going to have to make a play down the field to loosen that up. Okay? Here is the game for KC. KC's going to have to win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football to win this game. You can't split it. You can't split it. They're going to have to win the line of scrimmage. I mean, they got to win it. Team that wins the line of scrimmage wins the ball game. And that's why we picked the Eagles, because I think they're going to win the line of scrimmage. Offensively and defensively, they're going to win it. I don't really care about your skilled players. I don't care about their skilled players. Mahomes, I do. But in this game, this is the line of scrimmage game. Kansas City doesn't need skilled players to beat you. They've already done that. They beat you with Juju Smith-Schuster last time. They don't need skilled guys. They won the line of scrimmage in the second half. That's how they won the Super Bowl. It was like a year ago, San Francisco didn't play 60 minutes. Or, I'll take that back. They made San Francisco have to play 65 minutes. Or, no, what was it? 75 minutes. Into the overtime. They made them play 75 minutes. This is why I say to you, you're going to have to take this bitch from them. This year, Andy Reid has used all three running backs. He will have his defense get home. Remember, Jalen has a total of 12 sacks. That's just in the playoffs. Absolutely. He's got 45. What is it? What was it? 38 and 12 is what? Jalen Hurts has taken 50 sacks in 17 ball games. 50 sacks. I mean, you can put pressure on him. You know why? It's what he's done. Jalen Hurts has given up 50 sacks in 17 ball games that he's played. Huge. Okay? Look at Pat. Pat goes, how many has Mahomes taken? Who gives a fuck? He's better than your guy. He could take 8 sacks in a game and beat you. You only gave him 50 plays last time, and he beat you. You can't compare Jalen Hurts to Mahomes in any way, skill set and talent-wise. Stop doing that. It's not a fair comparison. They don't ask him to do anything remotely close. Mahomes carries his team. Hurts is on the Barkley train. Not saying he's not part of it, but he's on the Barkley train. Okay? Kansas City has to win the line of scrimmage, in my opinion, to win this. They do. They have to win the line of scrimmage. And I'm gonna be keeping an eye on that on Super Bowl Sunday. Oh, here are my 5 top 3 candidates to win the Super Bowl MVP for the Eagles. 1, Saquon Barkley. I think Barkley's – we're going to do prop bets here, too, in a second. I think Barkley, number 1. You're probably going to be shocked here. Zach Bond. Number 3, A.J. Brown. Number 4, Jalen Carter. And number 5, Jalen Hurts. Those are my top 5 guys that could win the MVP award. By the way, would we not agree? That's been the pecking order for the Philadelphia Eagles all year long. Barkley, Bond, AJ, Carter, could make Carter maybe ahead of AJ, and then Hurts. That's been the status quo all year long in games. Has it not? That's been the status quo. If you put all your games together, you would probably rank the game ball players: Barkley, Bond, Carter, AJ, Hurts. Why would it change in the Super Bowl? Because it's one game? Could. It could. It could. Hit the like button. I appreciate you guys, man. Give me a total on the likes, too. By the way, your super chats have been great. And I agree, Machiavelli. Andy does a great job at personnel and moving his personnel around. And I think that has a lot to do with the quarterback. Moving his personnel. He's going to go to 12 different targets in this game. Thank you, Samuel. 223 on a Super Bowl Friday. You're missing my point, Richard. You're missing my point. Guys like Brady and Mahomes make nobody's MVPs and Super Bowls. They just do. They make nobody's MVPs. Get this dickhead. Glazing the other team. Excuse me for glazing a team with 3 Super Bowls and going for a three-peat, and you've got to do something historic and heroic on Sunday to win it, and I picked you. What a dumbass. Glazing? I like greatness. You like mediocrity. That's what you root for, mediocrity. And you know what you do? You revel in it, and you reward it with admiration for mediocrity or for second-place finishes. Go win the fucking game Sunday. Go win it. I've never seen more lovers of second-place finishes in my life. I heard a guy a couple weeks ago tell me he'd rather have 4 Super Bowl losses than a Super Bowl win. I'm like, I can't subscribe to that kind of thinking. I don't know where that fucking comes from. Dude, you're either going to do things to be a champion or don't do them. You don't get glazed for winning 17 games. It means dick. Nothing. Dude, whether you're 10 and 7? Or you're 17-0, does it matter? I mean, seriously, does it matter? Does it matter? KC, no O-line holding calls in each Super Bowl, which is absolutely atrocious if true. Hollywood, really? I don't ever. Hey, look, man, I'm not going to sit here and make a segment out of officiating, but if that's the case where the Kansas City Chiefs have never had a holding penalty in any of the Super Bowls here, hey, I got to tell you, man, I'm going to jump off my horse if that's true, because that's on the – I've never seen an NFL game with no holding penalties, let alone the Super Bowl. Holy shit. You guys want them. You guys want to paint the 16th ceiling with Jesus Christ Hurts and AJ over here, and everyone has 350 yards passing, 148 yards receiving, Devontae 128. The defense has 10 sacks, and I mean this ain't gonna be like that. This ain't gonna be like that. My man Sills banging the show out like he bangs out box of cannolis after dinner. How you doing? Hey, by the way, you got it, man. Hey, I'll just say this to you, my good friend, New Jersey fishing maniac who's been here since day one. Don't ever eat a fucking cannoli from California. They don't taste good. Someone goes, hey, Sills, you want a cannoli? I go, where? From Santa Monica. That's all right. I'm going to wait till Xander invites me back to Philly. I'll get one of them things, man. I'm not getting a fucking California woke-ass cannoli. Yeah. Are you crazy? Hey, Sills, why don't you get a cannoli from Sacramento? Fuck that. I'm not eating them. What are you, crazy? Maniac. You kidding me, man? Cannolis, man, are either in New York, Philly, and Boston. Baltimore, too. I'm all right with them. That's my neck of the woods, that whole area like that. From Philly, Baltimore, D.C., New York, and Boston. That's it. All right. Woo! What did I say? What was my deal? What was my prediction? You got, Big Sills, man. He don't have any. There it is, 30-24. Philadelphia Eagles win on Sunday. This is going to be the hardest game you've played since Super Bowl 52. This is the most important game, the hardest game you have played since Super Bowl 52. Without further ado, it's Friday, folks. Watch me. Pre-game, post-game, halftime, as we say on the East Coast, all you students for the post game. My boy, Benji. Xander Krause joins us now here on a Super Bowl Friday.
What's up, Big Silly? Football Friday. And what are we? 51 hours away from the start of our 3-hour journey to immortality. And even Big Sills is picking the birds, baby.
Can't believe it.
Holy moly.
Can't believe it. Xander, you had it pegged the whole time. By the way, all supers will be read at the end of this segment. I promise you guys. Xander, you pegged it from probably about 7 days ago. I can't go against the team that's tougher, man. I just think they're tougher heading into this game. And I don't believe Kansas City can stop that Eagle O-line. I mean, Barkley, then you add him kind of like the cherry on top of the cake there. You know, I mean, I think Kansas City's good. They're, dude, obviously, I don't have to glaze over them. Look at their resume. However, I don't believe it. I don't believe that this will be the game like you're not going to, you don't really think they're going to have a repeat of what you did in Super Bowl 57 where your defense got shut down and your offense in the second half.
I really don't.
I don't either. You're not going to have a repeat.
I just don't see that. But yeah, no, look, here's the thing with this game. This is, I picked, my score prediction was 27-24 Philadelphia Eagles. All right. We'll have John McMullen. We'll have Birds 365 tonight at 6 p.m. So John McMullen will give us his prediction. Right now, Jacob's 2 for 2. Sills and Big Z both picking the Birds in this game. But I have 27-24 because, look, I feel amazing about this game. They do have the ultimate equalizer, though. And in order to overcome that, you got to make a play. Somebody's got to make a play somewhere at some point to create a negative play, whatever it might be. And we got to get that in order to win this thing. But I really believe in this defense. I believe it's going to be Zach Bond that makes that play. Every single time I've questioned or doubted or wondered about whether Zach Bond can maintain this level of play, he proves me wrong. Every time I have
been saying this since the Green Bay game.
Every time I have even just a shred of a doubt, a shred of one, right? Like, okay, will he? This is a big moment. The pressure's here. Will he continue to? He does it. So I'm done doubting the guy. I doubted him for. I didn't doubt him. It's not that I doubted him, but there's a level of wondering whether he can keep it up. And I think he's going to make the play in Super Bowl 59. And then he'll get a big ass contract rewarded as a Super Bowl champion in Philadelphia. I just can't believe we're here, man. I'm still, as long as we've been doing these shows now, and we've talked about every angle to this game known to man, maybe more so than anybody else. I still am just jacked up that we're here. I'm still jacked up that this team is in this game with a chance to, have another historic moment. I'm going
to go over some of these things that I mentioned, and I want to hear your thoughts on them.
All right.
Can the Chiefs, in your opinion, with that defense with Spags, how important do you think this is? Can they stop that home run hit? Dude, we talked about it last 2 weeks. The Barkley first home run touchdown, every guy in that sidelines was deflated. I can't tell you, dude, when you practice and you game plan and you do all that shit during the week and a guy hits his head on the goalpost, bro, it's deflating, man. He takes the wind out of your sails, Barkley.
That's not going to happen, though, versus Chiefs team. They're the best tackling team in the NFL in both the regular season and the postseason.
So you think they stopped the home run?
I'm not saying they stopped the home run, but what I will say is that type of run that you had in that first play versus Commanders, if you go back and rewatch that, there was 4 or 5 opportunities to tackle Saquon Barkley that the Commanders missed in that on that one specific run. So you might have a big run, and I do think he's going to have a chance to break one away at some point, but it's going to have to be a perfect blocking scheme with the O-line. And we've had them. I'm not saying that's not possible. That's certainly going to that certainly could happen too. But to say you're going to have a run where he's breaking I don't know. This Chiefs team doesn't miss many tackles. They're a 92% tackle team on run plays in the NFL. I mean, they don't miss tackles. So I don't expect that to happen. But, to me, I'm more focused on that running early on that first downs, like we talked about as well, where, if they can get those 5 yards or 4.5, 5 yards, 6 yards on those first downs, your entire game plan is going to be at your fingertips. You can do whatever you want in the game. So that's what I'm more focused on. But boy, you're right. If he has a demoralizing run like that early, yeah, it's good. Chiefs won't be taken out of it like the Commanders were, though.
How about this one here? Do you believe that Eagles defense has to stymie the Chiefs in the first quarter? And I think they have to make them get out to a slow start, couple 3-and-outs. I don't want Kansas City with the lead, man, heading into the half or into the second half, fourth quarter. I don't want that, man. I want Philly to stick into their guns, doing what they're doing, run them over. Dude, don't get cute. Just go in there and Dude, if I see somebody in the middle of the road and I get the fucking run neck, I'm running him over. I don't want to do anything cute. Run him over, man. I think this defense, if you get Mahomes moving around, you get a couple 3-and-outs, he's a guy you could be down 14. You've already felt this. He could throw his team out of trouble. I want to get him off to a slow start. Do you think they can do it?
I think you can do it. This Chiefs offense they're not overly dynamic. Okay. They don't have big plays. They don't have a lot of explosive plays.
But let me stop you there. You're right. They're not overly dynamic, but don't you agree they're unpredictable?
Oh, very unpredictable. That's why we talked a little bit about this yesterday, where this defense is going to have to be overly disciplined in this football game and fundamentally sound. You can't get out of your zones. You got to lock down the people that are in your zone. And if you take away Kelsey, that's great, but there's 5 other targets on the field that Mahomes will throw to. So, somebody mentioned this morning on the Xander Krause show that they should potentially put I think they said Oren Burks as a spy on Mahomes to take him out of coverage situations. But I'm like, they're never going to do that because you can't mess up the zone. The zone, they're going to thrive on their zone defense that they've thrived on all year with this. And if you take away a player out of that, Mahomes is going to pick you apart. So they're not going to go that route. They're going to stick in that zone, and they have to be disciplined. They have to be disciplined, but they will, man. Look, the one thing I love about this defense is they're young and they're fast. They're fast. So they make up for a lot of ground, especially in their zones. Cooper DeJean is as athletic as anybody he goes up against. Quinyon Mitchell seems to be able to run with anybody. So they don't give up a lot of huge, big plays, which is a great thing. But, I mentioned the tackling at the start. Eagles are the worst rated tackling team right now in the playoffs of all 14 playoff teams. Can you believe that?
No.
So they got to tackle, man. They got to tackle in this game. Yep. You got to get people. Do not let them get yards after the catch.
Okay. But do you believe that the Chiefs blitz package will create 4 sacks on Hurts?
Ooh. We can't be taking 4 sacks in this game. I can live with 1 or 2, maybe even 3. I don't think you want to go 4 sacks. 4 sacks, you're talking about
field position.
You're talking about potentially, hurting multiple drives. I'd say 2 or 3. I feel like they're going to get 2. I feel like the Birds are going to get 2. I think both of these quarterbacks understand that they can't be taking sacks in this game. Now, Mahomes has 5 sacks in 2 playoff games. I think he was sacked 36 times in the regular season. So he's been taking a lot of sacks as well. But let me give you a stat, all right? Let me hear that. I'll give you a stat. The Kansas City Chiefs are 30-1 when Patrick Mahomes releases the ball, average in a game in less than 2.7 seconds. 30-1.
And you're going against the zone defense.
So there's something is going to have to give there where you could have the greatest zone defense in the world. If you have a quarterback as accurate as Mahomes and he's getting the ball out that quick, they're going to have completions and they're going to move the sticks. You might not give up the big play down the field, and that's where that red zone defense is going to be huge. But I would expect their game plan to include Mahomes getting rid of that ball. Because, look, I talked to Jeff Kerr off the air as well. We had him on our show earlier, but I talked to him off the air as well. And I was talking to Jeff, and he's like, I don't think you understand how focused this team is on Jalen Carter.
Oh, yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs believe Jalen Carter is the number 1 reason by far that this is the number 1 defense in the NFL. And if they can slide, protect, and do anything to mitigate his damage on the game, they believe their offense will be fine.
That's right.
So Jalen Carter is going to be a huge impact, and they're going to come out throwing that ball.
Zach Vaughn is a byproduct of Jalen Carter.
Yeah, right. He plays a lot better when you have Jalen Carter in front of you.
Anybody does.
It's not supposed to be a knock on Zach. It's just supposed to mean the first thing before you even get to Zach Vaughn. The Chiefs want to get by Carter. They like their matchups everywhere else.
Why do you think Ray Lewis was so good in Baltimore? You had Siragusa and then you had Adams.
Right.
Those giant dudes in the middle where nobody touched them. I mean, you're going scraping laterally the whole time. How about this one here? Do you believe Vic Fangio's defense is going to win the red zone on Sunday? And what I mean by that is You can't, like Washington did, get down in the red zone, kick a field goal. You're not going to fucking beat the Kansas City Chiefs kicking field goals on 10-play drives.
Doesn't it kind of feel like this is one of those games where whoever's more successful in the red zone will win the game?
Absolutely.
I mean, both of these defenses are really good in the red zone.
Yep.
The Eagles are great in the red zone.
I think the Chiefs are number one.
The Chiefs are really good in the red zone, man. They'll give you yards, but they don't break often in the red zone. So they're sound defense. They bring pressure at the right times. Credit to Spagnuolo. He's going to make Jalen have an off-balance throw, something. He's going to do something. So whatever team is more successful in the red zone. Listen, if the Kansas City Chiefs are kicking field goals,
you win.
As Eagles fans, we're clapping our hands.
Yes.
All right. They're going to get points. They're going to get down the field. You know, they have the ball first in this game. They come right down, 18-play drive like Washington did, and they settle for 3. Clap it up, everybody, because you need that in this game. And then on the other side, one thing I want to see is I do want to see Sirianni be aggressive in this game. All right. Play to win.
What does that mean?
That means you can't be settling for 3 in the red zone. You got 4th and 2, you're going for it. All right. You're playing to win the football game, not be in it. If you're in it with the Chiefs, you lose. That's why they're 14-0 in one-score games.
Let me throw something at you here then. You're in the 4th quarter and you're up 7. Okay. And you're on the 25-yard line of Kansas City with about 8 minutes left in the ball game. You could make it a 2-score ball game. You're going to go for it down there on the 25 and give Patrick Mahomes a chance to come back and beat you?
In that scenario, yes, I am.
You're going for it.
I would go for it because
and not make it a 2-score game.
It's less. I think with the time you gave me left on that clock, I don't like being up 10 to the Chiefs with 8 minutes left. I'm sorry. That doesn't make me feel good. Being up 14 there is a much better cushion, and I think you put the pressure on them, and that's a difference in the game. That ultimately could be what it come down to. I mean, I don't know. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes here. You're talking about a team that wins.
You could be in that situation where
every one-score game. Guys, they didn't lose.
Eagles are on the 35 of Kansas City. There's about 6 minutes left in the game. Timeouts are at a premium. You're up 6, right? Do you go for a 2-score game or do you go?
All these people, you're fired. You're fired. No, you're not fired. Go ask Dan Quinn if he regrets taking the 3 early in that game. You've got to play to fucking win. We are not the better team. You're knocking off the champion.
That's Jaden Daniels, though, dude. This is Mahomes.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, the Eagles need to be aggressive in this football game. And if we lose a 3-score game, Manster, you better be in here on Monday. Hey, where's the other dude? 5-star. I better see you in here on Monday. If we lose by 3 points to the Kansas City Chiefs and they went soft in a moment, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to write your names down. Manster, and who is the other guy? Who's the other guy? I'm keeping the receipt. Manster and 5-star. If we lose by 3 and we get soft in the red zone, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be happy. You got to play to win. These guys are going for a 3-peat, man. These guys are going for a 3-peat. You're telling me you'd rather get this thing down to a 1-score game with Mahomes. Guys, they have 1 loss with their starters in this year. They lost by 9. Every other game that was 1 score, the Chiefs won. They don't lose 1-score games. They haven't lost a 1-score game all year. You're going to get to the Super Bowl and say, hey, let's gamble with a 1-score game?
Here. Okay, let's go to another one here. Do you think the Eagles will exploit the linebackers for Kansas City with Goddard? That is the biggest weakness on Kansas City's defense is the pass coverage of the linebackers. But hear me out here. Hurts doesn't throw across the middle of the field.
Mm-hmm.
He throws to the numbers. They have been shy on throwing across the middle of the field. That's why Goddard gets lost in the pass game. Is because they just don't throw on a consistent basis across the middle of the field. They haven't in 2 years. That's just been something that they shy away from. Now, I think personally Goddard could eat this game alive.
He could. He could.
Do you think they're going to use that weak? Because why would you play into the strengths when you've got AJ and Devontae, bro? I mean, doesn't that loosen up the perimeter and the Y and the Z, the number guys, Devontae and AJ? If you got Goddard going, if you get Goddard and Barkley going in the second half, Devontae and AJ will eat that team up.
Yeah, it's weird because we had a Chiefs guy in the chat the other day, and he was saying, and I was like talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, the one fear I have is we can't cover tight ends." And no, so it's weird because I did my predictions this morning, even knowing that, and I don't know. I don't have Goddard as a huge factor on my predictions. I feel like this is a game that Jalen is going to try and get the ball out quick, and he's going to try and get it to Devontae and AJ. I think it's just one of those games where you want those playmakers going. So I have them eating them up a little bit more. You also mentioned they like to throw to the numbers. So, if Spags is going to bring a blitz and he's going to drop McDuffie one-on-one on AJ, I love McDuffie, but I think Jalen's going to throw that ball. I think he's going to throw that ball. He did it at least in 22 Super Bowl. Remember, I mean, he had that one-on-one down the field with McDuffie, and he had a huge touchdown pass. So I think he's going to force the ball, or not force it. I think he's going to take advantage of that, and that one-on-one's on the outside more so than maybe not as clear one-on-one against Goddard. But I do think Goddard has a major advantage because Goddard's a super athletic tight end, and that's what they struggle with. And Goddard, if Jalen's finding him, he could be a big impact. I have him down for 3 catches for 30 yards, 3 first downs. But I think he could very easily get that in 1 catch. So, don't take that one to the bank. If you're a betting man, I wouldn't bet on that. But that's what I have him down as.
Here's another one here. I went back and watched. I randomly picked 5 games that Philly's defense had last year. Baltimore was one of them. The one thing that Vic Fangio and the defense have done this year that has been so eye-opening that I didn't get it until I watched it. That defense has put the offense in such great field position the entire fucking season.
Yeah.
They have never really been in bad field position because they're getting a ton of 3 and outs. Getting 3 and outs. Are they going to continue that? Because the one thing that Kansas City does and their defense does, they do the same thing, Xander. They give their offense, because like you said, there's not a lot of superstars in Kansas City. Well, how have they lost only 1 game with Mahomes starting? You know how? They got great field position with Spags' defense. Yeah. Same with Vic Fangio. These defenses, theoretically and fundamentally, they kind of look alike. Okay? They got a premier defensive tackle. They bring blitzes and pressure when they have. Their cornerback play is pretty good. I mean, it kind of mirrors it a little bit. I just think that Spags is more aggressive than Vic. I think there lies a difference between the two.
Spags is much more aggressive. Vic's going to, well, here's another thing, by the way, that speaking of this point, all right, with the coordinators, here's a spot that I think the Kansas City Chiefs have a clear advantage. All right. We talk about getting late in this game. We talk about this being a close game, a 1-score game late into the game. Is Vic Fangio going to drop into that soft zone coverage that he dropped into versus the Rams that Matthew Stafford went down the field 80 yards in about 60 seconds on? Because if you're going to do that late in the game, and Mahomes is going to sit back and say, thank you very much. If we have the ball late in the game, I promise you Steve Spagnuolo is going to bring the blitz and he's going to say, beat me, Jalen Hurts. And if you do, I'll tip my cap. He's not going to sit in that fucking soft zone. That soft zone drives me nuts. We almost gave the Rams up. 2 drives in a row. Everybody says the second drive wasn't that good. They got to the 13-yard line.
It's called prevent.
Prevent. That stupid prevent D. I hate that. I hate that prevent D. If we go into that, that's an advantage for the Chiefs.
It totally is.
I tell you what. This is what scares me about this game. Maybe this is just those Friday jitters getting in there. We were getting closer. The Birds are closer to the Super Bowl. I picked 27-24 Birds. All right. But good night. Every time I look at this game, I'm like, boy, we better have a 7-score. We better have a multi-touchdown lead.
Look what they did to San Francisco. They made San Francisco play 75 minutes last year. I mean, you got to play 60 minutes. Dude, this is 60 fucking minutes, man. And
Deshae is right about this too. They got to wrap up Deshae. Deshae, here's a bad stat for you. All right, not stat. You might not like it. You might like it. Whatever. Chiefs are the number 1 tackling team in the NFL in the playoffs. Eagles are the number 14 out of 14 playoff teams tackling in the NFL right now. Now, a lot of that's from that Green Bay game. You remember how many missed tackles they had in that game. But the Chiefs are going to wrap up. The Eagles need to make sure they do the same.
Absolutely, man. Here's something else to think about. There's a lot of youth. I'm not saying there's not in Philly, but there's youth in Kansas City in the secondary. How is Kansas City's young guys going to take on A.J. Brown and Devontae in this game? I mean, boy, that's you've got and Goddard if you get it, and you got Barkley if you want to get the ball to him. Barkley's been dangerous when he's touched the ball in the passing game. I mean, he's gone to the end zone a couple times doing that and stretched out third downs doing that a few times. Man, you got a multiple tasking effort ahead of you if you're Kansas City on playing technique. This is going to be a fundamental technique ball game because if you come out of it and you don't play your proper technique, someone's hitting their head on the goalpost.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. And so that's one of the most important parts of this game is that. So I agree 100% with that one.
Is this the game, Xander, that you feel the loss of Nakobe Dean?
I heard you say that question earlier, boy. I heard you say that earlier, and I had flashbacks to Super Bowl 58 last year, and Dre Greenlaw's running on the field, and his Achilles tendon burst, and Andy Reid looked over and said, "I'll pray for you, Dre," but holy shit.
55's out.
Thank you very much.
Remember Mahomes going 55's out?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Andy Reid's going to scheme it up. Will Oren be able to step up? Will Oren Burks be able to step up? Will he be ready? Will Vic Fangio do it again and get the most out of a player in a big spot? I believe in you, Oren. I believe in you, Oren. Come on, man. We need 60 minutes, Oren. Come on, Oren. I hope he can do it, Sills, but you're telling me to take Oren Burks over Travis Kelce, who's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
You see, Xander's.
Sure I feel good about that.
Xander's rubbing the magic genie lamp.
Yeah,
Come on, brother. I got you here.
I am, man. I am. I believe in you, Oren. I believe in you, Oren. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Here's another one for you. I wrote all these questions on last night.
I love them. They're great.
Hey.
King of content is Big Sills.
How deep do you think Andy Reid's going to have to go into his toolbox in this Super Bowl to beat them? And how far can he go? Because, dude, they had to pull it out. And they had to go deep last year into the toolbox to beat San Francisco.
Yeah.
Does Kellen Moore have a toolbox that deep if he needs it? This is where coaching again. See, Andy Reid's toolbox is way the fuck out of here. You got little Kellen Moore's toolbox right here.
I got a good analogy. You know, when everybody's got a guy in their life. They go over, they got the perfectly clean garage. He's got fucking the Husky racks of all the tools. And you can go, you got sliders out here. You got power tools over here. You got every wrench known to man. They got a snap-on table. That's Andy Reid. Kellen Moore got one of them little carry-ons you bring into the back of the truck. All right. So I don't know. I hope his toolbox is bigger than he has showed it to be this year. I just need an NFC title game equivalent. That's it. I don't need you to just give me an NFC title game equivalent. And I think Saquon Barkley can do the rest. That offensive line can do the rest. I just gave you a clear advantage for the Chiefs late in the game with the defense, but here's a clear advantage, and you've been talking about it all show. It's why you picked the Eagles. We're just more physical than that. Yeah. So don't get away from that. Don't try and get cute. Don't try and get pretty. Don't try and put lipstick on a pig. Fucking get out your lunch pail and beat him over the head. That's what you do. That's what makes you you. That's Philly.
That's the only reason I'm picking you.
We're more physical than this team, man. We're going to bully this team.
I just think you're the bigger, better bully.
Yeah, we're gonna bully this team. The question is though, is if you can make enough plays in the right moments to limit what they have, and they have the greatest quarterback and coach of this era. Okay, so you gotta come up with something. It's gonna require a play from somebody. My prediction for that play, I told you earlier, is Zach Bond. That's who I think. I think he's gonna peanut punch Xavier Worthy, young player. Probably wants to make his name known in a Super Bowl, knows he's faster than everybody on the field, might get a little bit jittery, all right, running that ball. Zach Bond going to look at him and say, come here, little boy, bang, peanut, bang, peanut punch that bitch right out of there. Frickin' Oren Burks falls on the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, Eagles ball, baby. That's going to be me in the studio when that happens.
Go fucking bullshit. Okay, how about this one here? You just mentioned it, and I'm going to throw it at you here. By the way, give me a total on the likes. All supers will be read here in a couple minutes here. And by the way, I got to tell you guys something. And Xander knows this as well as anybody. Congratulations, everyone. When you getting Jason Cole on, Jason helped Eric Allen get to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And because of you guys prodding him, sending him fucking stupid, hey, fuck you if you don't vote for Eric Allen. You know how many times he used to tell me that? Getting Jared Bell on and all those guys?
I was telling everybody that this morning. I was looking through the list of the voters, which, by the way, John McMullen's on there. You saw that. So Johnny Mac, one of the 50 voters for the awards last night. Pretty cool stuff there. I was telling all the
Hall of Fame, but for the
I was telling all the people about the Hall of Fame stuff though, because I started my show talking about Eric Allen, and I went through the, I'm like, Sileo had this guy on, he had this guy on, he had this guy on, he had this. He talked to Eric Allen himself, everybody. I mean, Sills did a lot for this. So,
hey, by the way, he texted me last night. I want to just,
dude, Eric Allen texted me back.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm a nobody.
Yeah,
I'm a nobody. He's such a genuine dude. I texted him like, hey man, I just produced for you one time. And I'm a big Eagle fan. Congratulations. And he hits me back. Thank you so much. I'm like, that's so dope.
Yep. Really cool here. All right. I got another one here for you. And you just mentioned it. Bro, I'm not putting fucking Oren Burks on fucking Travis Kelce.
You can't do
he
that.
ate him up. I'm gonna put DeJean on him.
Yeah, but then what are you gonna do? You're gonna move DeJean out of the slot? You're gonna mess up that zone
wait a minute.
again, bro.
Who else scares you?
You're gonna mess up that zone.
Who else? Okay, so you're gonna let Mahomes then pick apart your zone.
You can't tell me, Sileo, a couple of minutes ago that the team's got to be disciplined and they got to stay in their spots and dude, that's what we're gonna run.
You've got a mismatch in personnel then.
No, but you think they're going to take it? So you think they're going to do like a box and one type of thing?
No. I'm asking you. I think Vic will come up with something to try to stop this kid because, hey, you know what I would also do on him? I would line up my defensive end on him and don't let him get a free release off the line of scrimmage, and I would beat him up as much as I could with a big body. Don't have him uncovered out there on the wide, at the wide end out there. I would put someone in his face because I can't let him get free releases onto the secondary and into the linebacking core. So you know how you can do it? And you can play Burks? Put someone on him like Sweat. Have Nolan in his face. Have somebody in his face. Don't let him go and turn in the middle of the field there with Burks sitting in there. That's how you stop him, Xander. You can do it. You can stop him with formation. Or no, not stop him, slow him.
Yeah, you can slow him, but don't you think that? Don't you think that? Look, I'm not one of the people that says Travis Kelce has lost it all, but he's slowed down a little bit, enough to the point where you're just going to have to treat him like one of their weapons. You're not going to change your entire defensive philosophy coming into this game in order to take him out of the game. If he beats you on a couple of throws, you live with it. He's going to get some yards. I mean, he's going to get probably 30, 40, 50 yards minimum. I know he only had, 14, 20 last week? That was his lowest in a playoff game in 15 games. He had 14 straight playoff games of 75-plus yards, which is the longest streak in NFL history. So he was on that type of a streak before that Bills AFC Championship game.
What did he have in 57? 80-some yards in that game? 87 or so? 81?
Remember, he had the big touchdown over Marcus Epps. You remember that?
Yeah, I think he had like 81 yards and 6 catches or something. I don't know.
I'll look it up for you.
That sounds like kind of like
I know he had that big ass touchdown. That's all I freaking know.
yeah,
He had 6 for 81 and a tutty.
Okay.
6 for 81 and a tutty.
Here's another one here. How do you feel about Kellen Moore going against Spags in this game?
Well, there's a clear advantage there as well. I mean, come on, you got a guy with how many Super Bowl rings? 3 Super Bowl rings in Kansas City and another one elsewhere. I
Just
mean,
because he's got the playbook don't mean you could stop the horses.
that's true. I'm not saying that, but I mean, you asked me for an advantage in coaching. I mean, I think Steve Spags is gonna throw Kellen off more than vice versa.
Oh, yeah.
Now, again, big guys beat up little guys. Good people beat up bad people. I mean, good players ultimately win. So I'm not saying it's going to mitigate our offense, but if you're talking about a coaching advantage there, I would say Spags gets more out of his collection of talent than Kellen gets out of his collection of talent. All right. Kellen has got one of the best offenses in the NFL. So, look, those are the things. These are the things that we all know that the Chiefs have an advantage on us in. They have a coaching advantage and they have a quarterback advantage. All right. Those are the great equalizers in football. We are a better football team. We are a more physical football team. We are a better offense overall. We are a better defense overall. We are better statistically in every category almost outside of tackling than this team everywhere. That doesn't mean you're going to win it. All right. Somebody's got to go and make a play here. And Zach, bomb, baby.
Hey. All right,
come on, Zach.
Here's a couple more for you. Then we'll get to the supers. Ready? Dude, is there anybody else that when you look at Kansas City's offense, now I brought up the comparisons. Guys like Mahomes and Brady make Julian Edelman and Deion Branch and Juju Smith-Schuster stars. Is there anybody like that? I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster, did he not have the most yards of any wide receiver in the last Super Bowl compared to didn't he have a good game against the Eagles?
In the last Super Bowl, he had a big play. I remember the big play he had at the middle of the field. He had 53 yards. He had the most of any of the receivers. Yeah.
For Kansas City.
Yeah, for Kansas City. Yep, so
Kansas
he
turned Juju Smith-Schuster with a touchdown, and he turned a nobody into a somebody. Would you not say he was critical in their win?
Oh, he was definitely critical in their win. Again, this is what they have, dude. It could be Juju. It could be Xavier. It could be Hollywood Brown. It can be DeAndre Hopkins. It can be Isaiah Pacheco. It could be Kareem Hunt. It could be all these people. This is what the Chiefs are. This is what they've become. And it's a credit to Andy Reid and Mahomes because most play caller coordinators would not be able to do this with this type of talent. They just wouldn't. Let's call a spade. Most quarterbacks in the league, including guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, need more. They need a little bit more. Andy Reid and Mahomes are different cats. All right. These are different beasts. And I don't worry about one guy, but they're going to make plays. They're going to make plays. They're going to get points on the board. I don't know. I have 27-24, which I was wondering, is that low scoring? Is that high scoring? I kind of believe our defense could hold this team to 20, maybe less than 20 if they have a really stellar game, but I have 27-24, and that's what I felt. That's what I felt the best about going with.
Don't you, again, you can argue skill set here, but when I look at Hunt Pacheco, man, it reminds me of Ajayi and Blunt and how they use them in their offense, how there's a home run hitter in Pacheco and there's a red zone guy in Hunt, short yardage guy. Yeah. They kind of use them the same kind of way a bit. Don't you agree, Xander, that you kind of see the way that they use it? Now, obviously, they spread the ball so out, but when it comes to the run game, I see more short yardage plays by Hunt, who had 700 yards this year. Remember, this guy was on the sidelines for 18 months.
I know.
And this guy comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden he gives them somewhat of a small running game. Pacheco was hurt earlier in the year, and he's come back now, and he's more proficient in the run or in the pass game. But they use him like that. You know what they did when you guys Super Bowl 52? You had that kind of dynamic.
Yeah. I see that with them. I mean, look, it's kind of the same thing that they do there that they've done with their receivers. They get a collection of these guys, and it's good complementary football, good complementary offensive football.
And he's done that since Philly, really. He never had really big-time receivers outside of T.O. in Philly. He had a great tight end, and they had a running back. That's what he's done here kind of in a way too. I mean, right?
A little bit more modified here, and I think Patrick Mahomes is the reason you can modify it a little bit more just because you know he's going to make up any of the slack there. But no, I do like those running back. I don't think they're going to be able to run on us well, though. I think our physicality on our defensive line is going to be good. Nolan Smith's actually really been good against the run. Now, I think he's going to be one of the most important factors in this game. Like he's got to be disciplined because if you let Mahomes start running around over there and rolling out or even just finding a lane to throw because you went too deep on the pass rush, that's where Mahomes starts to beat you up. Don't you remember that one third down completion in Super Bowl 57? Where I forget who it was. Who was it? It might have been Jordan Davis. Was tackling Mahomes, and he's basically falling down, and he sidearms a throw to Travis Kelce for 8 yards, who grabbed it near the turf, and they moved the sticks. And I'm just like, fuck, man. You were inches away from getting off the field. Off the field. So it's really – look, when we say discipline, it's not for fun. Every inch in this game matters, bro. Every series. Yeah, every series, every step, every snap. So they got to get after Mahomes, and they got to stay disciplined and see if they can get him down to the turf, man.
How about this one here? For Kansas City to win their third straight Super Bowl, they got to win the line of scrimmage on both sides.
And they're not going to.
That's why I'm picking Philly.
Yeah.
Because what? Philly can win both sides. I don't believe Kansas City can. I just don't believe they're going to do that. Dude, if they do that, it'll be the worst fucking non-show up. And I don't believe it. You're going to have to show me, Kansas City, that you can win the line of scrimmage. And that, to me, Xander, that's the game. That's the game there, the line of scrimmage. Okay? And I think Philly rolls into this game, and they win the line of scrimmage like they won the line of scrimmage in 17.
Yeah, and they win the line of scrimmage almost every week in and week. It's the reason we're 20. It's the reason we're what are we 20-3 this year? What are we? No, 17-3 this year. It's the reason that we've done that in 20 games. It's because we dominate the trenches. That's what this team is built on, and that's why Lane Johnson walked into Nick Sirianni's office and said, "What is this cute shit? Look at us. You got a 6'8" guard, a 6'7" tackle, a 6'4" center, a 6'8" guard, and a 6'7" tackle. All right." You got 2,500 pounds of fucking force. Get on that thing, baby, and let's go.
Folks, I am going to get on his shit for one thing he said this morning because I tuned it on, and as I'm getting ready with my show here, hey, John, the guys seem a little bit under the weather and shit. You think that's going to be a fucking factor? Everyone's getting a little nervous about the sniffle. Everyone's worried about the fucking sniffles a little bit. I'm going
when I'm in opinion mode versus when I'm.
You think somebody's going to get worried about it's spreading around? I'm like, what is it, Bubila? What is it, Ebola?
It's the NOLA virus.
West Nile virus here? What the fuck?
The NOLA virus.
Sniffles?
We're talking NOLA virus.
Oh, sure. Okay. I'll get my decoder book on fucking viruses. That would stop.
No, it's NOLA. New Orleans.
That's the NOLA virus. Well, you know what that is down there. I saw John with beads on. Not good. I don't know. Anyway. Hey.
He was out with Jeff Kerr and Ed Kratz. I'm like, I don't know how many beads are getting done, dude.
Hey, that must have been a hell of a time. What were they drinking? Soda?
Big Sills don't go to bars with dudes. I was hoping to go to NOLA with Sills, and then we could go to the bar together. And I was going to take a picture and say, "This asshole's been lying for 4 years. He does go to bars with dudes."
You'd be the only guy I go with. Okay, you got it. Because wait a minute. You know why I'd go with you? I know you got a chick. Okay.
Huh? Yeah,
I know you got a chick.
No, wait, no. The check will come. This will be Sileo. I got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, what do you think? I got alligator arms?
What? Got the alligator arm. Celia's got the alligator. Check gets put on the desk.
Hey, Xander, my card's back at the hotel room.
You see what that you see? Oh, okay. Oh, thanks, Xander. Thank you, Xander.
Nah, just put it on Big Joe's card. That's all I got.
Celia's got them gator arms, baby. Them gator arms.
Don't ever fucking say gators.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Here's my top 5 MVP guys.
All right, let's hear it.
I got Barkley, 1. I got Bond, 2.
Wow.
I got Carter 3. I've got AJ 4, and I
You
got Hurts
suck.
5. And I got Hurts 5.
AJ's not winning the MVP over Jalen Hurts. The only way AJ Brown wins the MVP is if Jalen Hurts has an exceptional game.
Jalen Hurts has 131 yards passing, 65 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns.
Wrong. I have 20 for 28, 240, 58 on the ground, 3 total touchdowns, 2 in the air, 1 on the ground.
Kansas City wins.
It's the perfect stat line you need. No, it's not, because I have Saquon Barkley, 26 carries, 138 and a touchdown.
No, here's me with Barkley. I got 25 carries, 205.
Holy moly.
Oh, he's going to run him over. He's going to run him over.
You think so?
Oh, I do. You that line, no way. I'll tell you this, man. I was texting Michael Irvin, and I told Michael, I go, I haven't seen a player like this since Barry Sanders. I mean,
he's
like
incredible.
Sanders.
Yeah, he really is incredible. I got 26 for 138. You got 25 for 205?
Yep. I don't think they're going to stop him. No way. Here's what I got for Bond. 13 tackles, sack, and a pick.
I have 10 tackles and a forced fumble. 13 tackles. That's
Wait, is that out of?
No, that's not out of the realm of possibility.
No, is that not what he's done every game?
I know it is. It is what he's done. There's no doubt. What do you have for Carter?
9 tackles, 2 sacks, and a fumble recovery.
Boy, your projections, you got the Birds beating up on this team bad. What do you got for Devontae Smith?
5 catches. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go deep down in here.
And if you didn't do it, that's fine. I thought you did them all.
No, I did. I got 60 yards.
Yeah, I have 6 catches for 90, 1 touchdown.
Okay.
AJ Brown, what'd you say you had for AJ? Your score, they don't add up. I mean, guy picked 130 on Jalen Hurts for shock value.
No, that's what he's done. So he is.
Yeah, but how are you gonna have 60 yards of Devontae?
Here. I'll tell you exactly.
How many yards AJ?
I'll tell you exactly what I got. I told you what I had for Barkley. Here's what I have for I got for Hurts, under 200 yards. Hopkins, I have 35 yards. Goddard, I have over 50 yards. Kelsey, I have over 70.
What about AJ?
I'm going to get there. Hang on. Barkley, I have him for 1 run of 25 yards.
That's it? That's the longest one?
No, his longest one is 25-yard run. Yeah, the rest of them are 10, 15.
Okay.
He's just going to grind them down. I have AJ for 70 yards. I got Worthy for 54 yards. And I do think Zach Bond has more tackles than Nick Bolton. I got Kareem Hunt for 44 yards. I've got Mahomes for over 40 yards rushing.
What's your Mahomes stat line?
I got Mahomes 28 of 39 for 262 yards.
I think he's going to have more passing yards than that. I don't know, though. Last time he beat us in the Super Bowl, he had 180 and they had 38 points on the board.
So you put 260 up there and you put another 50, 60 yards rushing. He's 300 yards total offense. I mean,
yeah,
that's a pretty fucking great day.
I got 240 in the air for Hurts. I didn't think that was crazy. I'm surprised you balked at that so hard. He had 248 in the NFC.
How many games in the last 14 games has he thrown for over 200 yards?
No, you're right about that. It's certainly lower than that. That's in the average.
I don't want them to do any.
Yeah,
I don't want them to do anything.
You don't want it to all change for the Super Bowl.
No. And the reason I'm picking them is because I don't think he has to play anywhere near like he played in the NFC title game. I think you just line Barkley up and let that guy eat.
We're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Why would we not need to be as good as we were in the NFC title game?
Because Kansas City's a different breed.
That's what I'm saying.
Washington hasn't been in that position in.
That's what I mean, though. You got to be better.
Okay. Well, you're the quarterback. You have to do the things that got you to the game. That one of it. That Xander.
Yeah, but you had 55 points on the board when Jalen got going to the tune of 240.
You're not putting 55 points on Kansas City.
I'm not saying we are, but I'm saying you need Jalen to be that quarterback this game.
Dude, I want Barkley to be that guy.
I want both. Was Barkley not that guy?
Have they ever had both?
Huh? What do you mean? They just did.
Okay. Against Washington. Have they? Do you really believe that they're going to do? You hear Xander? He'll 350 yards passing and fucking.
I didn't say that. No.
Blowing it up. Touchdowns. I want everybody. I want fucking AJ to have 190 yards catching. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Blowing it up. 240. 58 rushing yards for Jalen Hurts. 298 yards total.
Who's your MVP?
Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is the MVP of this game, and I cannot wait. I told everybody this morning, I'm going to make the thumbnail for your show, which is the picture that everybody clicks on. If Sileo might not even know what a thumbnail is. 4 or 5 years on YouTube, he still doesn't know what a thumbnail is.
I have no idea.
But the picture of Jalen Hurts hoisting the Lombardi Trophy that I can picture right now is going to be the thumbnail photo of the National Football Show for weeks. For weeks.
You know what the thumbnail is going to be? It's going to be Jalen handing the MVP trophy to Barkley and then the Super Bowl trophy like a mailman puts mail in a mailbox. That's what it's going to look like.
No, it's not. No, it's not, you nerd. Jalen Hurts.
This guy's going to be a mailman.
Jalen Hurts will win the MVP.
Let's get to
these supers. And we got Jason Cole coming up.
Yeah, let's get to these supers, dog. I can't believe that was great.
I can't believe you're picking the birds. I'm not going to lie.
Well, dude, as an objective dude here, how do you not go with the tough guy?
That's why I told everybody this. Remember earlier this week, I'm like, I don't know who Sills is picking yet, but I feel like Sills is picking the birds. This team is too physical.
It is. It's just, hey, it is. You can't deny when you see a tough guy, right? You know,
I can't wait to get John's score prediction. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. There's no doubt. You're right. You're right. All right, you ready to rock?
Yeah, please.
Do some super here. Luke's dad, what's up, brother? Appreciate you, man. 204 yards is the Super Bowl rushing record. Do y'all see it being broken Sunday? Sileo does.
I do.
I don't, but Sileo does. That would be a historic end to a season, man. Super Bowl ring, Super Bowl MVP, and you're the most yards ever by a running back.
And it takes the burn of not having 2105 out that you ended up becoming.
I don't even think about that anymore. Yep. Yeah, I don't even think you think about that.
You will if they lose.
If you lose, you will. But if you become the victor, what will always be told when people talk about that 2,000 yards is, and Barkley went on to win Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
So that'll change the narrative there. Paul Barbarian, what's up, Paul?
Thanks, Paul.
When Jalen gets the ball out under 2.7 seconds, his win-loss record is ridiculous. It's on more to get him in rhythm. Same with Mahomes. He's 30-1, Paul. Mahomes, under 2.7 seconds. That's the number. By the way, I'm not from the 305. I live in Westchester County, New York. Beautiful county. By the way, Brooklyn, how you doing?
Dude, Westchester County, how you doing? They got a great mall up there. I used to go to it all the time,
man. They got a lot more than a great mall. That's a great place to live, Westchester County, New York.
Man. That's the home up there of Banksville, too, isn't it, man?
Yeah, man. That's a great place to live. That's an expensive, nice place to live. Nice, Paul. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Mad Dio checks in. If two wide receivers line up on the same side, then DeJean will not be covering Kelsey, but will be double covered with Bond and safety and Burks as linebacker. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but if I'm Kansas City, that favors me, Burks on Kelsey.
Yeah, they're always probably gonna give Burks some help.
Because they're gonna look for mismatches, obviously.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Andy Reid is smart enough to scheme the zone out of order a little bit. He's gonna get some matchups. It's Andy Reid, guys. Like, you're not gonna stop him every play. It's all right. They're gonna get yards. Machiavelli to Don. Big Dom knocked out Greenlaw.
He did. He put the reverse juju on him, too, man. What happened there? I like it.
He put the Maloik
on him. He put the Maloik on him. He did.
Yeah. JT Philly. What's up, JT? Spot on, Sills. These Kansas City linebackers are going to give trouble and are going to have trouble trying to contain Dallas Goedert. Kansas City is bottom of the league in yards allowed and touchdowns given up to tight ends. predicting a big stiff arm
terrible.
and touchdown from Goddard.
Hey, dude, I'm telling you, don't be shocked if Goddard has like 100 yards in this game because
I didn't predict it, but
they
I can
can't
see it.
cover, Xander. Xander, they can't cover, man. They're not good. They're just not good cover linebackers.
Yeah, I agree. Machiavelli to Don again. Thank you, brother. Eagles run iconic play. Philly special. No, they're not doing that. Nick wants to make his own path, I think. He's not going down that road. He's not going down that road.
There may be a form of a special play.
Right. Yeah, right. I agree with that. Sig Lord, how you going to tackle a guy you can't touch? Well, he went 60 yards. He didn't go 20 yards. I know they didn't touch him for 20 yards on that opening play, but talking about Saquon.
Kansas City's a great tackling team. They're going to get to him.
That's what he's saying, though. How you going to tackle a guy you can't touch?
I get it.
They're going to Sig Lord, they're going to touch him.
Yeah, you're going to get him.
They're going to touch him. We'll see. Matt Dio says this defense travels and plays well in a dome, holding teams to under 20 points.
And they're going to be faster, Matt D, on that turf indoors. It favors Eagles so much more, man.
You would know that more than me. I don't normally put much stock into that.
I do. When you're on AstroTurf compared to grass, you're a faster team, dude.
Yeah.
You
would know that. You obviously
played a faster surface, dude. I mean, grass is an equalizer sometimes.
Yeah, but doesn't that also benefit guys like Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown and
they don't have as many guys as you do.
They don't.
Your defense has team speed everywhere. Corners, secondary,
linebackers,
D-line,
defensive line.
Your offensive line is more athletic, I believe.
Yeah.
Partly on turf. Come on, dog. Fuck.
Michael Robinson, it's about to get real, Sills. Jalen's flu game in 2 days.
No, he's Jordan. He does wear Air Jordan shit.
He does. The Jordan shit's fire. I love the Jordan.
The difference between Jordan and Jalen goes for about 100 yards a passing game. It'd be the equivalent of Jordan going in a championship game for 10 points.
This guy, man. This guy. What are we gonna do with this guy? What are we gonna do when Jalen Hurts is?
Understand why I want Barkley to win the MVP, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah. It took me a lot.
He was carried to the deal.
Took me a while to pick up on that, bro. It took me a while. Schmidt Dingler says, "Okay, I'm gonna give you."
You made me think of that one.
Look at Schmidt here. He says, "Okay, I'm gonna give you the star of the game. Devontae Smith, 7 catches, 143, 2 tutties. Stills picked the birds to jinx us, by the way."
Hold on here, Schmidt. Who's quarterbacking for you? Tom Brady?
You act like they've never had stat lines with Jalen as their quarterback.
Oh, man. Yeah,
and AJ Brown had back-to-back years
this year?
Of 1,500 yards. He had over 1,000.
This guy, he had 600, 800 yards, 700 yards this year.
Devontae did. AJ had 1,000. Luke Stad says, how much zero blitz will we see if Kansas City's linebackers can't cover? Probably a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. All right, Big Sills. Good Football Friday show, brother. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll do a quick.
Before I get you out of here, Sterling Sharp made the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see Jason Cole will have a better answer for you than that. I'm just excited that Eric Allen is in.
Me too. And I think Jason heard all you guys bitching at him about Eric Allen, and he goes, let me do some more homework on it here. Well done, guys. I appreciate you, Xander. Please hit the like button. Let's get Jason Cole up here now. And we appreciate Jason, one of the Hall of Fame voters. Let's see if we can bring him up now. Hey, Jason, how you doing, brother?
I'm great. What's going on, Dan?
Hey, man, so I guess all the Philly guys crying at you for the last 2 years.
So much whining. So much whining from Philly. So much crying and Eric Allen. He deserves it, Eric Allen. Oh, Eric Allen. Quit your crying and whining.
He gets in though, man. But Jace, man, hey, Jace, how was the vote for him in the room? If you can give us as much as you can. Was it a long discussion?
Well, we don't know how other people, vote. Okay, we don't see that. We never see the results. I can say, I think there was this guy deserves it. Don't let this one slip by. This is, we have a really open class. Like, sometimes it just happens. You got guys on the ballot who are just better than you, right? I mean, that's just, or
That's
they,
right.
they got better cases. It just happens, and you can get unlucky for a long time, especially when you don't have, some of the postseason things that we look at and all this other stuff. And, you're not necessarily the greatest corner of your era. That was Dion. And when all that stuff happens, it's kind of easy to kind of get lost in the shuffle. But I think that this was a year where there were no overwhelming candidates, except for maybe Antonio Gates.
Yeah.
He was a really strong candidate. And the rest of it was, we're parsing out. So we could have had 3 completely different guys make it yesterday, and it would have been justified, and it would have been acceptable. It was Eric Allen's time, and we wanted to make sure that he didn't fall into the senior group because he's a little bit better than a lot of those seniors who were out there.
Were you shocked it was a 4-player group that went in, when I think this is the first time in a while that you've had less than 5 in there too? Were you shocked that it was only 4?
Yeah, it's the first time since Marino went in.
Wow.
We've had a 4-person class. And that was Marino and Steve Young, and then Fritz Pollard, and I can't remember the other guy. Those guys were senior candidates at the time. So it has been a long time. So that would be 2004. So 21 years. 2004, 2005. I'm not shocked. I'm disappointed. Because I think that this was the worst case scenario of the process, the new process that the Hall of Fame decided to do. Like, Mike Holmgren should have made it. To me, the fact that Holmgren didn't make it as the contributor, or the coach candidate, really bothers me. It bothers me that it doesn't bother me that Eli Manning didn't make it. It bothers me that he gets backlogged further because there are 2 other guys who are kind of going to be ahead of him, right? Like, because we didn't get 2 of these guys in on this group. It makes it harder to get him through. Maybe it's next year, maybe it's the year after, whenever it happens to be with Eli. Because I do think Eli is a Hall of Famer. I couldn't just leapfrog him ahead of everybody else on that list, including guys like Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Antonio Gates. I mean, I didn't feel comfortable doing that. We've discussed Eli a lot, and I felt like, he could wait, given what his resume looked like.
Was it a difficult conversation, Jason, for Eli? Because I'm sure that Gary Myers, who I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think he made probably the presentation for him in New York. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I mean, look, the Manning name is considered royalty in the NFL. And that's one of those things. But when you really look at the numbers here, I don't really think it's a disrespectful thing that Eli, maybe he has to wait another spin. He'll probably get in on the next time and next turn, 2-time Super Bowl MVP. But that guy, when I look at him, do I look at him and go like this? Is that guy better than anybody in his draft class? Is he better than Ben? Is he better than Rivers? I don't see that. I see a really great player that will get into the Hall of Fame, but I think those guys, I think first ballot guys are a little bit different. Do you agree, Jason? First ballot guys are that so-called floor in the Hall of Fame that Dion talks about that's kind of mythical.
Most of the time it's that way. Most of the time it's they just say their name, and they're a Hall of Famer, like Peyton Manning, like a Charles Woodson. But a lot of the time there's more discussion then. Like Darrelle Revis, he was a first ballot guy. Joe Thomas, first ballot guy. Those were more difficult discussions. Jason Taylor was a first ballot guy. I was a little surprised he was a first ballot guy.
Me too.
So sometimes it's just who you're on the ballot with. I come back to, it's not this guy's not a first ballot guy. It's like, well, yeah, he might not be, but on this ballot he is, because there's not a lot of other guys who would just jump off the page. So some of it is circumstances, but most of the time, 75, 80% of the time, it's Peyton Manning. Okay, thanks. Can we move on? You know, like
Junior Seau.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Junior was even a discussion, but I didn't think it was that much of a discussion.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Eli was I just say Eli was a really long discussion, and it was there was a lot of argument back and forth on Eli, and respectful argument and good discussion, but argument. I just say that guys, some guys are convinced and some guys are not.
Dude, please tell me about, look, I know when your brother is a TV celebrity and this and that, but Sterling Sharp over Joe Horn or the guy from Miami who played with Peyton with the Colts, I mean, Reggie Wayne, I mean, how in the world? And I get he was cut short.
No. Yeah, but Sterling, well, he wasn't with Reggie Wayne. He wasn't with Torrey Holt. He was on the senior. He's the senior committee nominee. Okay, he's in a different category.
Jason, that's flawed, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand that it's flawed, and I'm not a fan of it, but it is what it is, right? And if you got to vote for, you kind of got to vote for somebody. So him or Maxie Baum. Baum is a terrific player. I wasn't going to vote for Jim Tyrer. We've talked about Jim Tyrer in the past. I thought Mike Holmgren should get in. I wasn't going to vote for Ralph Hay, and I didn't. I didn't vote for Ralph Hay, who's one of the founders of the league, or the guy who called the meeting. But I will say this: I thought that the argument for Ralph Hay was much more convincing than I expected it to be when we were in the room. So I was like, okay, I got to think about this one a little bit more. But when you look at the 5 guys who were up for 3 spots, and only one made it, right? Sharp was one of the 3 best. He probably was to me, I thought Holmgren was a better candidate than Sharp, but it didn't play out that way. And and that's some of that is players are always going to get a little more credit than coaches. But I just thought Holmgren should have been the guy, and it didn't happen.
But it devalues what you're doing when you put people like that in. I
understand the argument for,
I couldn't wait to talk to you because Jason, you take such pride in this vote, and it's so important. I mean, I had to call Jimmy Johnson. Texted me last night. He goes, when you talk to Jason Coles, I go, no, that's not how that goes. That's a veteran. That's a Rick Gosselin conversation because that's where Rick is. He's on that side there too. But man, you guys are. I don't know, man. I thought it could have been one of the worst classes I've seen go into the Hall of Fame.
I mean, it's funny. Somebody said it was one of the best I've ever seen, but
really,
it's it's different people.
Look, I like Allen. I think Allen getting in. I think he's a worthy guy. And Gates.
I like the 3 modern guys, and I would have liked 2 more of the modern guys. But I and I've said this. I'm not I'm out there saying it. I'm not a big believer in the senior process. I'm just not a big believer in, and this is what happens. You get guys, and you're like Sterling Sharp, and you're like, God, he was a great player. And you're like, how about him versus Terrell Davis? But he doesn't have the title. You have that hesitation. And then he gets into this process and gets through. And then you're like, well, if he's in, then let's talk about Mark Clayton. Let's talk about this guy. Let's talk about, and that's the danger in this. Like when Drew Pearson got in, I was not a fan of Drew Pearson getting in. Because I look at it and I go, I watched Harold Jackson play, growing up. I think Harold Jackson was every bit as good as Drew Pearson. He doesn't have some of the moments of Drew Pearson, but I thought he was every bit as talented. And he has some better numbers. And as much as I love Harold Jackson from my youth, I can sit here and say, Harold Jackson is not a Hall of Famer. He's just not.
Absolutely.
It's like, and look, I mean, this is a Philly show, but Harold Carmichael, I wasn't on board.
I didn't see it either.
Right, and again, I loved him. That's Harold Carmichael again. I grew up watching Harold Carmichael play football. He's a terrific player. But Hall of Fame?
Bill Berkey was a better player on that team than he was.
I'm just saying this is what when we had that centennial class and we put these 20 guys in that year, including like Bill Cowher going in. Like Bill Cowher is in, but Mike Holmgren can't get in? Are you kidding me?
No.
Like what's going on here?
Yeah.
But this is just from year to year, you're never dealt the same deck of cards. The deck is dealt a little different way. The rules change a little bit, and the way the rules were structured this year in the voting made it really hard to get guys in, and that's why it's a 4-person class. I don't like it, but I don't run the Hall of Fame. It's not, I just sit here and I vote and I take pride in it. I try and work hard at it, but I don't run the Hall of Fame, and so it's up to them.
Before I get to the Super Bowl, what'd you make of the awards? Allen winning the MVP, not being the All-Pro quarterback. He took it over Lamar. Your thoughts there on that? Did you think that it was given to the right guy, or did you think Lamar was the MVP?
Oh, I thought either one was a great candidate for MVP. I just thought that the result where you get one gets All-Pro and the other one gets MVP is sort of like a high school journalism exercise.
You think it was a compromise?
Well, I don't think it was discussed that way. I know how these guys vote. Like, they don't get in a room and talk about it.
Yeah,
I just think it ends up that way, right? And was really hard to pick the two out. And I think that there's some reaction, like, Josh Allen had a great year last year statistically and got overlooked for legitimate reasons. He had a lot of turnovers, but he solved the turnover problem and he had less to work with than Lamar Jackson did. But Lamar Jackson was like near perfect. Like he was just, he was so great. So I get it. I don't have a problem with either award. I just think it's not very consistent. And it's like, oh, let's try and find a way to make both guys happy. I mean, come on, this is the NFL. Like these are grown ass men. Like let's just come to a decision on who's the best and just leave it at that.
Who do you like Sunday, Jay? Super Bowl 59. Chiefs go for a three-peat, and the Eagles go for validation, vindication of what happened in Super Bowl 57. Who do you like?
Well, I mean, I picked the Chiefs, 3 months ago when we were on the show, and you said you got the field of the Chiefs. And I said, I'm taking the Chiefs. So I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm sticking with that. I'm not going to back down now. I can paint a picture in which the Eagles win, and it's not a very difficult picture. It's the studs, in Saquon and the two receivers. They got to make big plays. They've got to get the tempo of this game going their direction and the score of the game. Like they got to be up a couple scores relatively early to force the Chiefs into throwing the ball to then take advantage of Jalen Carter and their pass rush against Mahomes and putting pressure on him. It's not a hard thing to figure out. If this game is allowed to sort of plod along one score back and forth, and, the Chiefs are allowed to run it and, play ball control and all that, it gets harder. And I think the Chiefs are better at that. The other thing I will say this, Kellen Moore, I give him a lot of credit. He's going to be the next coach of the Saints. But it's a really vanilla offense from a tactical standpoint. It's a really vanilla offense run with stud players. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong, let your guys play. But if you don't do a lot of things to confuse Steve Spagnuolo.
I love that.
Right? Like you're in the chess match, Spagnuolo versus Kellen Moore is not a fair fight. And Carol, I got respect for Kellen Moore. I think he's done some wonderful things. I think it's a little early for him to be a head coach and all that other stuff. But if you're asking me who's gonna win that chess match, it's Spags. And Spags, every day of the week at this point in time in their careers. And might change.
Jason, that'll be a fifth Super Bowl for him. Does he get into that Don Coryell kind of conversation that he goes to the Hall of Fame because, he gets in there because being a coordinator, that contributor kind of deal? Does he get into that kind of conversation?
I'd love it. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see us have a discussion about Spags. I know that, his one chance to be a head coach didn't go all that great, but quarterback got hurt. Things didn't play out.
No, the Rams Les Snead and Kevin Demoff said that we did not give him a chance, and we did not give him every opportunity to really build a team around him. There were a lot of failures in the organization. It was through relocation, all that shit too, and all that. And
absolutely.
So a lot of that played into the factor why he didn't really have a lot of success there in St. Louis.
Yeah, no, it was hamstrung. I mean, so I'm sort of like sitting here frustrated for Spags going, you have all these coaching openings and this guy didn't get a shot at it. Like, he didn't get a more serious shot at it. So, but as for Sunday, like, I think that's the one where if the Chiefs have a lead in the third quarter and Jalen's got to make a really difficult play and Kellen comes out in the wrong formation, like, it becomes sort of like goldfish in the piranha tank. And that's where they come up with that big play. It's sort of like that fourth down play for Josh Allen late in the game where he's got to hit it. And he almost did, but they came out in the wrong formation. It's on automatic blitz. Spags sees it, and he's all over Josh Allen, forces him to throw it up in the air and not drive the ball downfield to Kincaid and make it an easier catch for Kincaid.
Two last ones here. I got one. What would a fourth Super Bowl for Mahomes, a three-peat, what would that mean for him as he moves forward up the ladder? There's only one guy then that he's looking down at. Obviously, he would tie Bradshaw and Montana. I mean, Joe's always going to be in a conversation as one of the greatest of all time. I get it, but we're now talking about a fifth Super Bowl. He's following up Brady. How would that? Would that make him the second greatest quarterback with an opportunity at being? It's kind of like the Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus conversation now. Brady's got all the titles still, and Tiger, you look at him and you go, yeah, but that guy looks like he's got more talent. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it kind of reminds me of that.
Well, yeah, he does. I mean, Mahomes was a first-round pick for a reason. I mean, if you're not in a combine, and you got Joe Montana and Tom Brady and 22-year-old each, Patrick Mahomes, 22-year-old Joe Montana, and 22-year-old Tom Brady on the field, you know who you're picking first. It's the dude who can throw it, off one leg, 80 yards, to that dude on the opposite hash mark from where you are. Like, he's that good, along with the brain to do it. So, I always come back to, is he the best? I don't know. Is he the second best? I don't know. It's a matter of taste, right? But when you pick out the 5 or 6 or 8 greatest quarterbacks of all time, when you look at Marino and Elway and Otto Graham from his era and Unitas and Peyton, and and you start lining those names up, and I always look at it. I think I've said this to you before. If we're choosing up sides and those guys are on the board, I'll take the last pick. I'll be okay. I'll take the last pick. You guys, I'll take the last. I want the first round. I want the first round pick for when I get LT on the coming back. To start my defense. But I'll take the worst one of those quarterbacks, and I'll be good. And Mahomes is in that group of those 6, 8, 9, whatever number. He's in that group, and he's probably getting drafted 1, 2, or 3. Just depends on who's picking.
So it looks like Andy has said that he looks like he's going to coach one more year. Comes back.
Why is Andy? Why are people thinking Andy Reid's going to quit?
There was somebody came out, I think it's Super Bowl week, that Andy said, well, as of right now, I know I'm coming back next year. I don't know about after that. And so everyone has trampolined off that.
He's got some health issues. I mean, his body's, he's a 67-year-old man who's been heavy all his life. And as a 62-year-old man who's been heavy all his life, it ain't easy moving around all the time.
I get it.
I get it, but I will also say this: that man's having a good time.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, yeah, you got that quarterback, you got good time. I mean, maybe the Shula stuff means something, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I don't want to read too much into that. I hope he stays around and he tries to break Shula's record. It'd be cool to see. Again, it's the same logic of I saw Shula break Hallis's record. I'd like to live long enough to see Shula's record get broken. That's an amazing record. I'd love to see that. Just like I want to see a team do a three-peat, right? Like I want to see some history. That's cool stuff. But the bottom line is, whether that matters or not to Andy Reid, he's having a great time doing a great job, doing something he's passionate about. And he's like sitting there going, I'm coaching Patrick Mahomes and I can go eat some cheeseburgers, man. Life's good.
Yeah.
Like why would you walk away from that? Like
you wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Yeah, like what you're having a good time. Now I know it's stressful, but it beats the hell out of doing nothing. I gotta tell you that.
Hey, by the way, real quick. I saw Belichick's girl last night. I'll tell you what, one more time here, Jace, he ain't gonna have any problems recruiting. Okay, I mean,
oh no,
I didn't know what. I didn't know what. I mean, everything. I posted a picture on my Twitter with him standing next to his little honey there, and I'm like, everything about that picture was awesome. I don't know what else to say about Bill. That's the greatest trophy he's ever won, as far as I'm concerned. It's the best.
I ain't going there.
Jason, have a great
look, Pat. And look, Pat, you've gotten yourself in enough trouble over the years. You shouldn't go there either. Okay?
Thank you very much. Hey, stop reminding me of that.
Let me just tell you this: old lady Sileo is about to kick your ass.
No. You know what that means? That means it's ham sandwiches and soup tonight.
Yeah, go sit in the corner and think about this. Okay,
absolutely.
Go sit in the corner.
Hey, have a great Super Bowl Sunday, my friend.
All right, dude. I'll talk to you later.
You got it, man. That is our friend Jason Cole. I so appreciate it. And all of you are assholes. The guy votes for Eric Allen, and you guys take a shit on him. Hilarious, though. I won't. Hey, I've got to give justice to some of you guys, man. Some of that shit was funny. I'm trying to come up with another question. One of the most distracting things I've ever seen. I'm sitting there trying to talk to Jason Cole, and I go like this. That seatbelt is going to suffocate Cole. I'm like, this guy just helped you get your boy into the hall. Hey, Sills, Jesus criminy, man. Do you know what a calorie is? I'm like, holy shit. I bring the guy on because the guy helped get him into the Hall of Fame. And you guys are sitting there kicking his ass around for eating. Hey, is he going through a McDonald's drive-thru getting 2 Happy Meals? Like, what the fuck are you guys? Sills, I think this guy just is working on his 4th Happy Meal. Holy cow, man. Hey, wait a minute. Is he being hung by his seatbelt? Hey, and I'm sitting here going like this. Yes. I'm trying to look as professional as I possibly fucking can. And here's this guy. Dude, that seatbelt is screaming help. Oh, you guys are terrible, man. Seatbelt is prime Jason. Oh, man. Hey, this is a public service announcement. If I ever get the kind of money that Bill Belichick, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm going to get a 24-year-old Gamad too, and I'm going to parade her out like Belichick. That was so fucking awesome. I posted that picture, man. Everything about that picture with him and that chick at NFL Honors last night was tremendous. A 72-year-old man with that 24-year-old girl. He's sitting there going like this, and he's like, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that picture. There's nothing wrong with it. Everything about that picture was totally great. And here's Bill walking the red carpet. I thought it was his daughter. I'm like, who is that? That's his chick. I'm like, get out. guy my age was sitting there going like this. Get out. Holy shit. Sills, what would you even know what to do with her anymore? I'm like, yeah, I got ideas. Well, make me a sandwich. Oh, I haven't used that line in years. Thank you. Holy shit. Dude, honest to God, that's the best game plan Bill Belichick has ever had. Hey, Bill, what's your most memorable game plan you ever made? Hey, winning over that 24-year-old. How you doing? How'd you win her over? 20 million reasons will do that, dude. Oh, man. Oh, my God, man. Yeah, here comes Bill. I'm like, what's that? Everybody that started texting me, Sileo, are you watching Belichick roll up with his girl? I said I saw it. No. Hey, she's probably going to marry the guy. And you know what she's going to do? She's going to wear the guy out so much, man. She gets everything in the will. Hey, what happened to Bill? He died in Iraq. Like my grandfather used to say, like John Garfield. You don't know who John Garfield is. He died in Iraq too. Oh, man. Whew. That was some look last night. I even tweeted out, hey, UNC, if you don't think you're going to get 5-star people in the year program, take a look at Bill's check. Okay? Yeah. Take a look at his check. There's not a chance in hell he'll ever be out recruited. All right. The legendary Philly Godfather is going to join us. That'll be at 5:30. Make sure you guys hit the like button here. And we've been telling you now about our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. Folks, I had John Morgan on this weekend. John knocked it out of the ballpark. Very simple. Guy's a self-made billionaire. You heard me right. And I was so happy that he was able to talk some sports with you guys. But here's a guy that built up a company with the fact that he and ultimately his wife wanted to have a law firm that was there to represent families when insurance companies were trying to take advantage of them. They're the number one injury law firm in America for a reason. Their resume speaks for themselves. $20 billion in recovered income for their clients. I mean, again, like I said, their resume speaks for itself. In PA, man, there was a family I told you about. Some of you heard me already say it. $650K they were offered. No way. John and his people of thousands of lawyers went into this and said, hey, man, that's not going to cut it. $26 million was awarded to that family. How about in Florida? $350K was offered to a family. $12 million ended up after Morgan & Morgan went through all the paperwork with the insurance company. They ended up getting $12 million. If you're ever injured, do me a favor. Please check out Morgan & Morgan. The fee is free unless they win. Simple as that. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/big sales or #529. That's FORthepeople.com/big sales or #law 529. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an Audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Red Sills, Super Bowl Friday, Sunday's coming up right around the corner. Don't forget to catch us on the pre and post game show. That's where we'll be on the JAKIB pre and post game show. It should be epic, obviously. I will be in my Jerome Brown jersey, and I'm going to tell you flat out, I'm going to reset here a little bit, but just a little note. Brandon Graham is going to lead the Super Bowl speech Saturday night as the team will prepare for the Chiefs. He'll be addressing the team. I don't know if he's going to play. I think he's still questionable for the ball game, but he's going to lead the speech Saturday night. Okay? So, I mean, the last time was Jason Kelsey. I think Jason kind of stole the thunder a little bit. This is going to be my last game. Yeah, I don't want to hear. I don't really care about that stuff. That this is my last game. That's probably a shitty speech. Talking about a guy, this is going to be my last football game. I'm going to lay everything on the line. I don't fucking care. You got to have a conversation, in my opinion, about all of us. Okay? It's got to be about all of us. Anytime you're in a conversation like that, when you talk to a team. Here, I did a conversation years ago, and I remember talking to the Hurricane team before they played Notre Dame, and they beat the shit out of them. And we were talking, and I was talking to these guys. It's got to be about you guys. Nobody can talk about I. There's no I in team. It's not just a cliche. It's a reality. Okay? You got to play together in this. You're going to need one another on Sunday. Nobody is above the team on Sunday. It's 60 minutes of football, man. No matter how that looks, it's 60 minutes of football. And as I told you, man, here, I'm going to reset this. Then we'll get in. By the way, Dick Vermeil's picking the Birds to win. I want to get to some of the voting and want to reset it again here. This is going to be, I think, one of the better Super Bowls that we've seen in the last couple of years. I think Kansas City has so much in front of them. My God, Kansas City will go down. What do you think is more impressive? Hey, what do you think's the greatest NFL team of all time? I think it's the Dolphin team in the mid-70s. I think it's the greatest team. 3 state Super Bowls, 2 wins, 1 team's undefeated. Would we not agree? Top it. That 70s Dolphins team is the greatest in the Super Bowl era team of all time. You know why? Hey, Luke, unfortunately, 1 Super Bowl versus 3 AFC championships, 2 Super Bowl wins, and 1 team was undefeated. Well, guess what, Mick? They were undefeated. They had 1 loss. They were undefeated. And 2 wins and 3 conference titles. Nobody's been better. Nobody has been better. That's the greatest team of all time in the Super Bowl era. This Chiefs team has a chance to match it if they lose or duplicate it or better it. That's what they're facing. You know what the Eagles are? Vindication, validation. You have 1 championship. 1 in this current run here. You don't get consolation prizes when you're playing a team like that. I've said this before. Hey, Kyle, I got it. 4-6 is tremendous. What the Steelers did, those Steeler teams were incredible. Okay? Get this. See this guy, Luke? We used to be dream chasers. Now we're dream crashers. That's theory. Reality is what the Chiefs have done. That's theory. It's not reality. Reality is Super Bowl Sunday. When the 60 minutes are up, you'll know what reality is. Okay? You'll know. Right now, it's theory. That's all you're talking about. How is it fact, Luke? You've done nothing. Kansas City's won 2 in a row. They're going for something no team since the Dolphins has done. See guys like Luke? He don't know what he's talking about. Makes no sense. And Reyes goes, that was then, this is now. Okay, go do it. KC is in the KC is in the business of winning championships. You're in the business of theories. Go do it. Look, I'm not going to debate fantasy versus reality. You're talking fantasy. Reality is what happens on Sunday. And I do believe that the Eagles get it done on Sunday. 30-24. I just think you're too physical. I think you're bigger. I think you're tougher. I said it in the first hour of the program. What sold me was Washington, not the score. I don't give a shit about the score. I don't care about the score. Okay? I just don't. I loved what Landon Dickerson and how Cam Jurgens played. Getting helped off by 2 men, being carried. 30-24. I got the Birds winning. And as you know, it's as objective as you could possibly be. I'm not a homer. I don't have a favorite team. I had a favorite team when I was 10 years old. I've not had one since. I love football. My passion is football. I love the game. I don't root for a respected team. I love watching great teams and great football. I'm a fan of dynasties. I'm a fan of everything that's related to the game. What I love about the game the most, get this, you can't move the goalpost or change the scoreboard. You're either going to win or lose. You know, some of you do. You can always change. You can always tell the people that change it when it comes to politics, when it comes to other things. You know how you can tell? Well, the field fucking sucked. The refs blow. Those are people that try to change the scoreboard and try to change reality. You fucking lost. Deal with it. You lost. You won. Okay? You add those little sidebars in because you don't like dealing with reality. Sports is reality. There's a winner and there's a loser. You want to know what moving the goalposts is? Go follow some politics. Trump didn't win. Oh, no, Biden didn't win. You're sitting around going like, what the fuck are they talking about? Isn't every 4 years the next election? Hey, by the way, it's really cool that Trump's going to be there at the Super Bowl. First sitting president ever to go to the Super Bowl. I loved what he did the other day also by signing that executive order that finally dudes can't play in women's sports. It's great. Hey, can I say one thing before we move on to that? When did that become a topic? I mean, it feels like I'm talking about PSI and deflated footballs and dumb shit. When did that ever become a topic? A dude in women's sports not being able to answer, that's a chick, that's a dude. I don't get that. What's the conversation? A guy should be in women's sports and beat her up in a boxing match is fucking insane. Why Title IX? I mean, yeah, I agreed. But when you have a daughter like I did playing rugby, I don't want to see a dude playing rugby. My daughter has played against guys that are portraying themselves as chicks. I don't get it. Women's sports have fought so much, and I'm so happy Trump did that. I don't really think that was a big deal. You're a chick, you're a dude. Why have women's sports then? Crazy. So that's there for you. The voting on the awards was interesting. How many people believe that Vic Fangio should have won the Assistant of the Year in the NFL? How many people think he should have won the Assistant of the Year? Senor, easy. Okay? How many people believe that Vic should have won the Assistant Coach of the Year? Vic should have won easily. Okay? Definitely. Well, here's the voting. Ben Johnson got 29 of 50 first place votes. Pretty much a runaway. Number 2, Brian Flores got the second votes. He actually got 31 first place votes. Isn't he a D coordinator in Minnesota? Well, surely Vic finished third. No. Another D coordinator finished ahead of Vic. Aaron Glenn got 6 first place votes of Detroit. Oh, Vic was 4th in voting. He got 3. Vic Fangio finished 4th with the number 1 defense in the NFL. And that defense a year ago was 31st. Really? Really? I thought Vic was going to be second in a close first way battle with Ben Johnson. He was never in the conversation. I don't know what it is with Philly, but nobody respects your coaches. Your head coach was never in the conversation for Coach of the Year, and your coordinator was not even in the realm of conversation. Neither coordinator was in the conversation. Vic Fangio finished 4th behind two other D coordinators. One in Detroit and Minnesota. And it wasn't close. Dude, it was closer between 4th and 3rd than it was between 1st and 2nd. Flores actually had, I'll take that back. Flores actually had more first place votes than what Ben Johnson did. And he had the number 1 defense. How's that possible? Do I think Vic Fangio gives a shit about this? No, I don't. But that just shows you how people look at your coaches. And the only one they really revere is Kellen. I thought it was an interesting comment on what Jason Cole said about your offense, and I happen to agree with it. It's a basic vanilla offense with exceptional players. It's so true. You have no passing game, and you have an exceptional run game, and you have exceptional offensive skilled, talented guys, but no results. Again, I'm talking with those players. The results of the team are through the run game. But Jason's right. That's how good you are, though. It's not a rip. Yale, you run 5 plays that I care about. The zone run, Jalen taking off, the slant in the pass game. And really, it's nothing. But here's the deal. They're high percentage, and you can't stop it. You know what's unusual about it? It hasn't been stopped. If I could pick 5 plays and run that offense all year, and I can win 17 games and put myself in a position to win a Super Bowl, why would I want a complex, complicated offense like John Gruden runs? Okay? How? Right? That's right. Our offense is basic, but at the end of the day, it's one thing to get the job done that wins. That's why we eye the Super Bowl. Hey, right? That's why when people are talking about 250 yards pass, it's fucking nuts. That's not how you're winning games. You won a game like that, not all your games. Don't you take the collective season of how you won a ball game and look at it, and that's who you are. If you got Jalen Hurts throwing the ball 35 times on Super Bowl Sunday, you're losing. Why? He hasn't thrown the ball over 31 times, 32 times since week 4. Why would you do that again against the best red zone team and against a team that's the reigning Super Bowl champions? Why would you do that? Why would you go there? Why would you do something that's right, Pat, not your game? Right? Two 257-yard path it is. I'll tell you Jalen Hurts' numbers for me. I'll go down the line again. 140, 5, passing, 65 rushing, 3 TDs. Gives you 21 points. That's 21 points. What's more important? 400 yards offense or 21 points and off? Hey, 21 points. What's more important to you? How it looks or 21 points? Gives a shit how you get there. It's not how you drive, it's how you arrive, jackasses. Take the points. I think Barkley's going for about 25 carries for 205. Dude, I do not believe, no way, Kansas City can stop that run game. Sills, do you agree that Hurts shows up in big games? No. Let's see. NFC title game is his best game that he's ever won. Or do you want me to give him credit for showing up in a loss? Okay. That's for you. He showed up in one game that he's won. This year, he averaged 92 total net passing yards in the wild card game and in the divisional game. Am I lying? No. No. Those are facts. I mean, if you look at the other wins that he's had, he's averaging about 130 yards a game. Sills, a great Jersey law firm is Cobb and Cobb. Okay? Get this guy. If Hurts replicates a championship game in the Super Bowl, will you change your narrative? Why would you fucking want him to do that? Why would you ask him, why would you throw the ball like that when you don't need to? Kansas City can't stop your run game. Dude, Jalen Hurts threw for over 300 yards in the Super Bowl and lost. You run for 200 yards in the Super Bowl, they can't beat you. So dumb. You want this kid to look good. Who gives a fuck how he looks? Big Sills, your favorite player you played alongside with, Jerome Brown. And did Allen's MVP speech make you tear up? Go Birds, 31-9. How about that guy? Never was recruited by one guy, but one team. University of Wyoming. Nobody wanted him. Nobody thought anything of him. Now he's the reigning MVP. A prediction we threw out at the beginning of the year. I remember people in here. I'm not going to name any names, but right, Senor? I thought Josh Allen was supposed to take a step back. He won the MVP. Stephon Diggs was going to, what was it? Expose him. I think the words were by Philly fans. Expose him. But that didn't happen. Okay. That didn't happen. Now he's the most valuable player. And he's considered the best player in the game. Hey, by the way, so the most overrated player, according to some players in the NFL, just won the most valuable player award. Got it. So I think if they try to change their game, that shows nervousness, and the Eagles could possibly lose. Blaine, you know who's notorious as that? Do you know who's notorious? Marty Schottenheimer. Overcooked the books. Overcooked the team, overcooked the game plan. And he was, what was he, 4-14 in postseason play? Right? Right? I mean, he used to overcook it all the time. I mean, that's right. I like this take here. This is not rocket science. You play to your strengths. Correct. You think Batman's going to fight? Right. Dude, play your game. I don't think Kansas City can beat you at your game. I do not believe, okay? I do not believe they can beat your game. Tony says, Sills, Eagles are more inexperienced, which might prove to be an issue. Don't overthink it, Tony. Go beat them up. Don't overthink it. Just go beat them up. I don't give a shit how young you are. Go beat them up. You want to overthink it? Hey, you know what inexperience is? If those coordinators do some bullshit that it's not who they are, like having Hurts throw for a bunch of yards or attempts, that's when you know that they were nervous and the coach is panicked. Okay? You'll know. This is what I'm doing. Honest to God, I'm getting into this game on Sunday, and I'm going to run that football as much as I can. I am. So before I get the Godfather on here, by the way, please, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. I want them to hear what I'm going to say here. Kansas City is going for history here. I just think the Eagles are too physical. I do not believe that, and I've said it all week, and I'll say it again. Guys, please hit the like button. I don't believe the Eagles' defense can stop Mahomes, but I don't believe Kansas City's defense can stop the Eagle offense. But I do believe in the fourth quarter, the Eagles, just like in the 2017-18 Super Bowl, I think they're going to have a couple stops that are going to be the difference, and they win 30-24. So I think it's over the number because I think the number is 49. So I got 54 and an over. Let's find out here because I wrote down a bunch of props. We're going to talk about the game here with our friend. He's been by the way, he's been all over the place. I mean, this kid, hey, he's one of the most wanted men. I think for him, this is a good thing nowadays for him being one of the most wanted men to talk sports. I think when he was younger, that was a bad connotation. Okay? I don't think that narrative was good for him when I said he was one of the most wanted men. Now he's wanted to go on shows, talk sports. Without further ado, our friend, the legendary Philly Godfather, joins us right now. I'm assuming that phrase is a lot better today than it used to be for you.
Absolutely, man. Nobody wants to be on America's Most Wanted or the FBI's Most Wanted list.
But I also heard nobody wants to be up to their neck in sand.
No, absolutely not. Not in 122-degree weather with no air conditioning. Absolutely not.
What do you make of my comment on this is how I see that thing playing out, man. I just think the Eagles are more physical than Kansas City. But, man, then all of a sudden I get a reality light going, Mahomes and Reed? I mean, how tough was this game for you to look at and go like this? I mean, okay, Birds, yeah, but these guys are going to potentially be the greatest team of all time. I say the greatest team of all time, the Dolphin team. And here's why. They went to 3 straight Super Bowls. They won 2 of them. One of them was undefeated. They won 2 conference titles in that frame. And now you get Kansas City kind of in that same position here. How do you see this thing playing out on Sunday?
It's a tough game, man. You can't quantify greatness. And Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he's unreal. But I'm not scared. I mean, in order to defeat a giant, you got to know thyself. And the Eagles know who they are. They know how they win football games. Smash mouth, old school, run the ball down your throat. You ain't stopping us. And you got to know thy enemy. And they know Andy Reid. And they've been here 2 years ago. And that game came down to really a bogus holding call at the 10-yard line, or else the Eagles would have the ball back. This year, the Eagles are the better team, more physical team. They're better at almost every position except for quarterback. And obviously, Andy Reid's a great coach, and Spags is amazing. But the Chiefs tend to start off a little slow in these Super Bowls. They scored a combined 33 points, I think, in 4 Super Bowls. So they start off a little slow. I think the Eagles are going to jump out on top. I like the Eagles in the first half plus a half a point. I like Jalen Hurts to go over 209 passing yards. I think he's going to have a big day. I think we have a big mismatch on the field with A.J. Brown, and he's 100% healthy. I think he has a monster day, over 69.5 receiving yards, anytime touchdown for Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. And I think the Eagles beat this team, and they might beat them senseless. I mean, you're going to be surprised by the final score.
Wow. Angelo Cataldi thinks it's like Angelo had like an 11-point win. You just think their physicality is going to – I had 30-24. I think it's going to be something like that, but I think those numbers – I could see the Philadelphia Eagles having like a 30-17 lead going into the fourth with like 10 minutes left and them getting a touchdown, making it 30-24. But I don't know. What do you think the difference in the game is? Is it just they're younger and faster?
Well, they're younger, they're faster, they're more physical, and they're going to keep Mahomes off the field. I mean, how do you beat guys like this? You keep them off the field by running the ball. And then in that fourth quarter, when that Chiefs defense is depleted, from getting the ball shoved down their throats the whole game, they tack on a bunch of points. And that's, if you look back at the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, the interior pass rush really got to Mahomes, had him running backwards 400 or 500 yards in that game. And the Eagles have the same type of pass rush. They don't send a lot of people, but they get a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks. And that left tackle for the Chiefs has been banged up all year. They're going to have some issues on their offensive line. Mahomes is great. I mean, he's going for 3 straight, but whatever he did happen in the past. This is a brand new football game. The Eagles are ready. They're battle tested. And if it wasn't for that 36-33 loss to the Commanders, where Hurts only threw 4 or 5 passes before he got hurt, how many have they won in a row? So the line is dropping. It went up to 2, and now it's back down to 1. I'm seeing Pick'em minus 110 on the Super Bowl. So that's a big move. That's a 2-point move on the Super Bowl in the Eagles' favor. And I just think the Eagles' defense is better. I think their offense is better. I mean, the nucleus of this Philadelphia Eagles team is just better than this Chiefs team. And as great as Andy Reid is, and his, in-game adjustments is as great as Spags is, like Tyson said, once you get punched in the face with that running game, what are you going to do? How are you going to stop it? And that's what I think is going to be the difference in a football game here, dude.
Do you think it's over 49 points?
There's some 48.5s out there. I like the under in the first half, 24.5, but yeah, I could see the game going over. Definitely see the game going over, especially if the Chiefs go down maybe 10 points and they start passing the ball more. And, I could see it happening.
You think Barkley goes over 109.5?
I think it's right there. I think it's a big number. I haven't bet it yet. It was as high as 116.5, and some sharp money went under 116.5. Dropped that, that price down. If it gets down like 106, I'll probably be looking to bet the over. So, you can sit back and wait because a lot of these prop bets, they fluctuate a lot.
Let me ask you this. Does that money change game day, or does it the night before? When is the biggest move? Is it after the injury report is released on Thursday? I'm assuming that probably is a big day, but does it move Saturday night? Does it move game day right up to game day? When's the biggest movement for a game like this?
Usually it's after the injury reports, but as information enters the market, opinions will change and people will start betting larger amounts. So, as if someone gets some information, maybe someone's sick with the flu. I know a couple of Eagles were a little sick, but now they're fine. Landon Dickerson, he's playing. They're saying he's okay. Cam Jurgens, he's playing. They're saying he's okay. And that's big to that Eagles offensive line. So, yeah, injury reports, but, any type of little information in a game that's this close, it's a pick. Could really sway the difference on the outcome, on who wins the game.
You really believe that Hurts is going to go over 211.5, 211 yards and a half? You think he goes over that?
I went over 209.5. He probably went up to 211.5. I think he goes over 211.5. I think AJ has a big game. I think Hurts, anytime touchdown, he can beat you with his arm. He can beat you with his legs. I think he scores. AJ Brown, you grab plus 175 anytime touchdown on him. I think Devontae Smith has a big game. I think the Eagles are just a much better team. And even though, the Chiefs have won, 17 one-score games or something like that, something crazy, they're not winning this game, Dan.
Goddard, I said this, I think the weakness on that Kansas City team is their linebackers. They're one of the worst covering linebacker teams on tight ends. They've given more tight end touchdowns up this year than any team in the league. Not that the Eagles go to Goddard a lot, but I got 49.5 yards for Dallas Goedert? Do you think he goes over or under in this ball game and they exploit that?
I went over 4.5 receptions. I think they're going to target him a ton. And I actually bet a crossover sport prop, Dallas Goedert to have more receptions than Maxey to have 3-pointers against the Bucks. So I think he has at least 5 receptions in this ball game, and I can see him going over his receiving total.
What about Mr. Pfizer, Travis Kelce, 62.5 he has. Does he go over, under on that on Travis Swift? What do you think? What do you think he does here?
I mean, he's going to have to go over if the Chiefs are going to win this game. It's right there. I didn't make a move on him in this ball game. His numbers have dropped off this year a little bit. A lot of stuff going on with him. You know, he's in love with that Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
You know, but he
go ahead.
No, go ahead. He shows up, though, you know, in big games. Yeah, he
does show up in big games for them, man. I know. I mean, last time they played, you know, he had 81 yards, 6 catches in that game, and he was a factor in that ball game in Super Bowl 57. How about over under on Mahomes, a touchdown and a half, TD passes?
I didn't bet it.
You think Mahomes doesn't have a great game then?
I went under 251.5 passing yards for him. So he's a great player. I mean, great players show up. How great of a game he's going to have. I don't think he goes over 250 passing yards. This is the best defense the Chiefs have faced all year. This defense reminds me a little bit of the Houston Texans defense that gave the Chiefs a bunch of problems in the first one of the playoff games. If you look at the box score, if it wasn't for those 82 penalty yards, I mean, the Texans win that game. They had more yards, more first downs. The Chiefs really didn't do much with the football, and the refs really bailed them out in that football game. And this Eagles defense is similar to that, but much better. And now you got an offense that's way better than that Texans offense. So that's why I like the Eagles a lot in this ball game.
I'm with you, man. I thought the Texans handled them. I mean, I thought those flags coming out from heaven helped them out a lot. I mean, boy, I thought, like I said, you watch that game. If you go back and watch that Texans-Chiefs game, you're like, if you don't see the scoreboard, you think the Texans outplayed them in that ball game.
Yep.
Barkley, does he have a run longer than or under 25.5 yards?
I think over 25.5 yards. I know they're going to key in on him, Spags, but I don't think they can stop him. And no one's been able to stop him all season. Hopefully he doesn't pull a hamstring, God forbid, or something like that in the football game. Then you're really screwed. But I don't think they can stop him. No one's been able to stop him all year. This offensive line, the Eagles, I mean, they're massive. They're just moving people around. One of the best offensive lines I've seen in a long time. And it surprised me because, you know, Kelce didn't come back. And the way they put this offensive line together, they're just rolling over people, man. You know, they're not scared.
Do you agree? If Kansas City's going to win the game, they got to win both lines of scrimmage.
Yeah. Well, that's what the Warriors won. And I don't see that happening.
I don't either.
I really don't. I mean, Chris Jones, you know, he's older. His numbers ain't what they were. Karlaftis, I got him to have an anytime sack, even money in the football game. But I think the Eagles, you know, win the war at the offensive line and defensive line, and their corners are better. You might see Quinyon Mitchell with an interception here. You know, so they're fast. I mean, this team is fast. You know, their pass defense one of the fastest in the NFL. And Vic Fangio, people are talking about he was 0-8 against, you know, Mahomes, but he had some really bad teams when he went up against them. And guess what? Mahomes' numbers, they weren't that great in those 8 games. And this is the best defense Vic Fangio has had that's going up against Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes, over under 35 rushing yards. Here's why I bring this up. Last year, he went for 64. They needed it to force the 5th quarter. The year before that, against the Eagles, he went for 44 yards. So he's averaging roughly around 50 in the last 2 Super Bowls. And you know what he does? He pulls out the RPO when he feels that it's needed to go vertical. Most of the time, he runs around in the pocket here. I think those are the critical and meaningful yards on moving the chains because, like you said, let's face it, Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster, I get Xavier Worthy with the with the speed, but those guys are B students, and
Yeah.
some of them are C students. I mean,
Yeah.
so his running, I think, is going to be critical in this game. Like you said, if they are going to win.
Yeah. I think I went over 5.5 rushing attempts. I bet so many props. I got there's so many props that I bet for this game, but I bet Worthy over 54.5 receiving yards or 55.5. But yeah, I could see Mahomes running for his life here.
Yeah.
It's like that Tampa Bay Super Bowl where he was running for his life. I could see the same thing happening.
You think Kareem Hunt? I said this comparison. I think Kareem Hunt and Pacheco, they kind of remind me of Ajayi and Blunt and how they were used back in 2017, where you got a red zone guy, short yardage guy, and Hunt, and the other guys used more in the passing game, try to give you a little more versatility. He's been pretty good since he come off the beach, over 700 yards rushing. You see him in a game here, 43.5 rushing yards, over under on that?
I think Pacheco's going to play more. Yeah, I know he hasn't played in a while. So I think his yards might go down. Kareem Hunt, if you want to bet him anytime touchdown, he might have a shot. But this ain't the Buffalo Bills rush defense. This is the Philadelphia Eagles. Try to run on that team. They're arguably the best, run defense in the league, best pass defense in the league. This is going to be a little bit different than that Buffalo Bills game that had a bunch of guys, on defense that were banged up, and a coach that's scared, McDermott, to use his offense the right way. And I think the refs,
You think the refs are a factor in this thing?
I think it's going to help the Eagles because it's been so magnified that they actually had to come out and address the issue. And, people want to say it's a conspiracy theory. That's great. But when you look at the box score, it's a fact.
It is.
The flags that they're getting and the flags that aren't being called, and the fact that now that they had to come out and address it, I think they might overcompensate a little bit. And the Eagles might, get the calls here. So, I tried to be as unbiased as possible. For the first couple of days, I really went over everything. And I kept saying, for every argument I had for the Eagles, you can come back and say, well, Mahomes is great. Well, Mahomes is, but you know what? That runs out. Tom Brady lost Super Bowls. I mean, you got to win this week against the best defense he's faced all year. And I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I do you agree with this? I've been saying this the last 2 weeks. If they call a tight game that favors Philly, if they call a loose game, that means it's more subjective, where you can get those flags from heaven on. And Mahomes is going to get the calls because now I agree with you because there's more of a magnifying glass now on the referees that they may pull that back a bit. But who are you going to give the benefit of the doubt to in the Jordan rules to? Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts in a subjective game? I'm going to give it to the guy who's built the equity with 3 Super Bowls up. I want a tight refereed game because if you do that, I don't believe Kansas City can stay in the ball game if you call a tight game. If you call a loose game, anything's open to interpretation.
Yeah, if you're not calling offensive holding, you see what the Chiefs do in Super Bowl.
You want to hear something crazy? In the last 2 Super Bowls, the Chiefs don't have one offensive holding penalty.
The one against the 49ers, when was that, 2019?
Yeah.
They went back to pass 40-something times. They didn't have an offensive holding call. That one play against Tyreek Hill took like 7 minutes to develop. There was probably 6 holding calls, and nothing got called. If that's the case, well, then, we might as well watch wrestling. I mean, let's be honest.
Devontae Smith, you got him going over 60 yards in this game, huh?
I think he's is that what his receiver?
It's number 60. The number's over under 60.
They went up. They were lower than that. Someone banged that pretty hard. I think he has a big game. 60 is a lot of yards because he got AJ. He's going to put up some numbers. But, yeah, I could see Devontae having a big game as well, too.
You got Mahomes going over 250.5 yards or under?
I got him going under 251.
So you think the pressure gets to him then? You think Vic holds him in check?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so.
Xavier Worthy, 53.5, 53.5 yards. You think he's over or under in this?
I went over in his receiving yards. Out of all the guys on that team, who's got the best chance of going over the receiving yards? It's probably him. He's got speed. He can break one for 25, 30. I think he goes over.
MVP. Barkley, Bond, AJ, Carter, and Hurts. Okay, since you're picking the Eagles, those were my top 5 guys. Who do you like as your top 3 guys to win the most valuable player if Philadelphia does raise the Lombardi Trophy on Sunday?
I mean, it's got to be Hurts and Barkley, 1 and 2. And then what's Jalen Carter, like 100 to 1 or something?
Yep.
Big number. Yeah. I mean, if he disrupts that, offensive line, gives him havoc. The corner, Mitchell, if he picks off 1 or 2, gets 2 interceptions, he could be right there. He's a game changer. He's a ball hawk. But it's got to be Barkley, Hurts. It's hard giving it to AJ because that means Hurts has massive numbers.
I like Bond in this game. I could see Bond with 13 tackles. I predicted this. I got Bond with 13 tackles, a sack, an INT, and a fumble recovery.
Well, if he does that, he's the MVP.
I think he could because he's going to be asked to cover them all. Because here's my problem. Oren Burks got lit up last year by Jason Kelce or Travis Kelce last year when Greenlaw went out. And you heard him on the sideline going, 55's out, 55's out. You're not going to put that guy. You may have to do something by putting a man over on Travis Kelce, not letting him get free releases. Because last year, if I see that kid Oren Burks again, Mahomes tortured him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how they got back in the ball game is when Greenlaw got hurt last year. So
they shut him down. They shut him down in the first half.
Yeah. Greenlaw shut him down. Then he hurt his whatever it was, his groin or his hamstring or whatever it was, blew his knee out. And that was the end of that. And they got back in that game with him taking off running. So I don't want to see that matchup. Maybe Cooper DeJean covers him there too. So I got Bond, man. I think Bond's lined up for a big game here.
Yeah, I mean, if he puts up those type of numbers, like you said, turnover, interception, a bunch of tackles, he could definitely win it. A defensive guy hasn't won it since I gave out, I think, Von Miller back in 2016. I had him at 30 to 1 with the Broncos against the Panthers. And I think that's the last defensive player that won the MVP, right?
Yeah, and I think before that, I think it was Ray Lewis. I think it was Ray versus the Niners, and then you're right, Von Miller ended up winning the MVP award. Hey, by the way, I didn't ask, what's the score? What kind of score are you looking at here?
Man, probably like I could see 31-26. I could see, 30 to 26. I think the Eagles win by, let's just say 30 to 24. I think the Eagles win by 6 points.
Well, this is going to be great. I can't wait to see this thing. They could be hosting. I believe it or not, I picked the Eagles too on Sunday. I got them winning this football game, and I think they're going to win it because I just think they're bigger and tougher, and they've been tough all year long. I don't believe anybody's going to stop Barkley. You've been a busy man, my friend. Tell the folks during this weekend, because I'm sure a lot of prop bets are going to be moving around this weekend, how they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on X at Philly Godfather. The website's thephillygodfather.com. And the book's final edits done February 24th, mass production, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles at phillybooked.com. You can pick it up anywhere.
I pitched your movie to John Morgan.
Oh, the injury lawyer.
Yeah, he's worth $2 billion.
Big money. Big money. Let's set it up.
No. I mean, I pitched it to him, and he liked. I showed him the pictures and everything. So yeah. So let me see what he says. But he's been talking to me about it. I sent it to him last night, and he's like, "Yeah, you know me. He's invested in like 4 or 5 movies too."
Well, this is
he's doing a Michael Vick story.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's really good friends with Vic.
Yeah.
So he's going to do the Vic story.
We got the 2 hottest topics in the country: marijuana and sports betting.
By the way, he's a giant proponent of legalizing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they should have done it.
He spent $10 million last year campaigning for legalizing it in Florida.
It has so many medicinal purposes. I mean, it's time we start moving forward and start helping some people out. But yeah, go Birds. I was on News Nation this morning. Gave out the Eagles. And at the end, I said, "Go Birds, baby." And they just started laughing. You can't take the Philly out of me, Dan.
Gotcha, man. Hey, brother, I appreciate you doing this, man. Thank you so much, my friend. Keep them punching, baby.
Good luck, guys.
You got it. That is our friend, Philly Godfather. Make sure you guys check out his website. Please hit the like button. Hey, don't forget, we just did this segment here. Don't forget our friends at BetUS. Our great friends at BetUS with the YouTube 150 sign-up bonuses up to $2K. Second, third, or 125%. And if you're into crypto, that is 200%. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. Home of Michael Vick. We just talked about Vick. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Surely you feel it. Surely you feel it. We're here, man. We're here. Yeah. Now we're hours away. By the way, everybody's giving me their predictions over on X too, man. Sills, 34-23. I got a bunch of people here, man. Great stuff. I really appreciate you guys today, especially with the super chats. I don't know if we missed any, Xander. Any super chats. If we did, we'll read them here. But guys, you guys were absolutely sensational here. Here are the awards that came out last night. Obviously, Josh Allen was the MVP. The coach of the year was Kevin O'Connell, Minnesota Vikings. We mentioned Ben Johnson, Detroit, was the assistant coach of the year. Joe Burrow was the comeback player of the year. Saquon Barkley, offensive player of the year, which is rightfully so. Patrick Surtain, I thought was a surprise. Ended up winning the defensive player of the year award. Jaden Daniels wins the rookie offensive player of the year. And Jared Verse beat out Quinyon Mitchell for the rookie defensive player of the year. I think that was pretty much right. You can make the argument that Barkley was the second best, third best. Barkley was the third best player in the league this year, behind Lamar and Allen. And I'm with Jason. You could have given it to Lamar, and I was going to be cool with it. I was. So don't forget, folks, on Sunday, too, our pre- and post-game show. I can't wait for this. That thing's going to be epic. Guys, good job on the likes today. Please hit that number. We so appreciate it. And, hey, don't forget our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. I've been talking to you guys here about our great friends. I'm so glad we were able to get John Morgan on this week, man. He has the #1 injury law firm in the country with over $20 billion in recovered assets for families around the country. This is what the track record is at Morgan & Morgan. I told you about the story in Pennsylvania. A couple was offered $650K. They ended up getting $26 million. Absolutely. If you're ever injured, do me a favor. Please check out my friends at Morgan & Morgan. The fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's FOR thepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
All right, folks, post right now. Who wins the most valuable player award on Sunday? I've got Birds winning. Who do you think wins the most valuable player award on Sunday? Senor, Barkley. Carter. Who wins it? Hurts. Barkley runs away with it. Barkley. Zach Bond. Boy, I like him to win the MVP award. Okay? Yes. Xander, what time are we doing that thing? Same time tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern time? I forgot. That's right. We're doing a show on Saturday, too. We'll do that hour. I believe, Xander, right? 10 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to do that. So that'll be 10 Eastern that we're going to do that. Okay, and then Xander's going to jump on with John McMullen a little bit later in the program, too, or in the day on the channel. So make sure you guys check that out. Yeah, I think Barkley goes for 205, and I think he breaks Tim Smith's record. I think he has a big day. I just don't believe Kansas City can stop him, man. Saquon Barkley, baby, wins the most valuable player award. And there's Jalen on the choo-choo ride. He'll be sitting like a little kid on the choo-choo ride in seat 4, just going, way to go, Saquon. Way to go, Saquon. He going to be on the Saquon Barkley train. How you doing? How'd he get there? He going to be on that Saquon Barkley train. That's right, freaks. It's going to be the Barkley show on Sunday. Okay? That's right. Jalen's going to be sitting there going, oh, All right, folks. Hey, we look forward to you tomorrow and also, too, on the pregame show. Thank you guys so much. Have a great Super Bowl Friday. Joe, Big Z, thank you. 2 to 6 on Monday. We appreciate everybody. Hit the like button on the way out the door, and we'll see you on the flip side.